the ability to have that busos knowledge, given that knowledge that we're to, you sent your son and he stood against the halakha and the haggadah. So do an update and update the ministry. Obviously, changes, hopefully, appearance doesn't make all the world of a difference, because he warned us of two things: idolatry and imagery. So, been a minute. Uh, we're going to talk about, well, here we are. Hopefully, like I said, looks aren't everything. That's what we said. He warned us of the two things, the two witnesses. He said two. What we warned about. So I appreciate showing up again. Always, sometimes first. That's not by chance. Nothing. No such thing as luck. No such thing as free will. So he tells us that we're to be charitable, and we're supposed to do those with all things, with Father, with ourselves, and with others. So we need to be giving of this word. And I know I've been offline, but I've obviously been very busy. Nothing's changed in my life. It's an everyday struggle. Narrow hados. He said the hados, narrow is the way that leads to the straight gate. In Matthew, he tells us to enter through that straight gate. So I thank him for this ministry, and I thank him for the, the continued support, and those who've just made the effort. Still, we don't go away in this world. Everything we are doing is being tracked and traced inside us by our Creator, who's not in a house made by hands, nor is the sun. And that great and dreadful day of the Lord is a one final seal, shofar, the ram's horn shall sound. That great is for oligos. That's just a puny number. That's a fraction of the whole. All flesh under this covenant, not just Aaron and Levite, but Gentiles, Jews and Gentiles, man. And remember, Mary declared that Christ had risen. Remember that neatly folded, yes, the veil they put over his face, they veiled him. So the resurrection of the bride and the bridegroom, that is the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Oligos is just a puny number. It's a fraction. Again, Father doesn't love everybody. That's not what the narrow way is. Hados is like a sieve. It's a process. All we're supposed to endure. He tells us to endure. Endure to the end. If you want to be sozo saved, you have to go through the narrow way. That is the word hados. So thank you for the narrowing of self, denial, deny self. He tells us in Matthew, and the disciples that he talks about in Luke. The execute, the agape, the patience, meek. This is a meek testament, not under a law. You can't put me under a law. I'm not under the law. That's what he came. He fulfilled the covenant of this testament of meek, not weak. There's a difference between being meek and being weak. He didn't say be weak. He said be meek. Turn your cheek. Do the math. It's simple math. How many times does he tell us that we must, yes, turn our cheek, give the chance. Can't beat the brakes off somebody, right? We're supposed to, you can defend yourself. He didn't say that. He didn't want you to get walked on, but you're supposed to get, this is not the go out and seek vengeance. He said, do not seek vengeance. Let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. So we're talking about the great and dreadful day of the Lord, or oligarchs will have their names called out in the book of life at the wedding feast of the lambs. He said, before Abraham was, I am. That is Father. He sent his Son, birthed, because Father doesn't exist in flesh, and Father does not have breast. No, he does not. And neither does Shiloh, the one who will return and redeem the bride, the Hamashiach. When they hung on a tree, it tells us in the book of Acts, remember what they did? You couldn't hang a Roman citizen, remember? The crown of thorns. Not these TV thorns that they put in his head, into his cranium, into his skull, and ripped his beard right out of his face. How about that? Anybody want to rip your beard out of your face? He said, follow after me. In the book of Matthew, deny yourself, your eyes. There's two thieves that hang on that, right there on that cross, right? They nailed him to a tree. He said, suffer, right? Endure. Does it sound like that's a little short, little walk to the Sunday fun day, just sit down in the church? He didn't dwell in temples made by hands. Temples. That physical covenant was destroyed, blotted out in the book of handwritings, in the book of ordinances, in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. Thank you, Paul. Once written on stone, pounded out, the law, physical law, pounded. Remember, they pounded his flesh. They nailed, staked his hands to a yoke. He carried that yoke. He didn't carry a cross. He tells you to carry your cross daily. Matthew, deny yourself daily. Take up your cross daily and follow after me. Does anybody want to nail you to a tree? Raise you on a stake or a tree, lift you up and nail your feet, one on top of the other, stretch you back so you can't breathe? We must suffer. This is not some easy gospel. Narrow is the way, he said, that leads to the straight gate. And very few were having the conversation of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. I don't care about it. There's only the gospel, Cole. There's only the gospel. Everything else, deny. If it's not in the Hados, he said, follow after me. In the same narrow way under this covenant, Jews and Gentiles, not one above another. So there's no, it's a spiritual testament that we're under, not under any physical law. So that's Old Testament. We're not under the law anymore. Remember Colossians 2 and 14, once was written, pounded out on stone. He was the lion from the tribe of Judah, like Jeremiah and Judah. You're bringing up Judaism. You're talking about the Old Testament, the old law, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The first 5 books in the Torah, that was the Jewish law that applied to 2 houses, the physical house of Aaron and Levi, when only it was a temple, enter into that temple. Otherwise, you were a Gentile. The law didn't apply to you. You could eat what you want. You could eat pork. You could do whatever you want. Father didn't love you. Father wouldn't love everybody now. He didn't say he's going to love everybody. He said he fulfilled through the flesh. All flesh would be fulfilled under this covenant. Jews and Gentiles, man and woman, good and evil. Father already chose this from the foundation of the Lord. He already knew he would birth a flesh vessel because Father is light. He said, I'm the horizo. You know what that means? I am the separator. I divide the day from the night, the dark from the light. I'm the divider. I am the separator. I am the horizo. I am the horizon. I'll put a dome over your head, huh? How about that? A crown. He said, Revelation 3 and 11, I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. There's 2 crowns, 2 kings. One has a key to the abyss. Abyss is knowledge. So if you lack it, Abyss, no knowledge, hell, that's your word. That's you. That's what it says in the book. My people shall perish for lack of abyss. I'll throw them in the abyss. No definition. So, no spiritual Israel, no spiritual place on this rock, all flesh under this covenant, Jews and Gentiles, man and woman. Hados. He said, narrow is the way that leads to the straight gate, not one special place on this rock. I rebuke anybody that teaches you that that's antichrist. Peace is antichrist. Anybody who teaches you or says peace is a false teacher. Scorpizo is the word, a scorpion. Yeah, the one who causes the flock to scatter, right? The halo, better watch out. Like Leviathan in the garden, he said, be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Yeah, I hope you're not going after that other Christ, birthed in the middle of the winter. The little sex Jesus pistol, let me see your decamide, put your hands up. Yeah, that one, birthed in the middle of the winter, huh? Who's your daddy? Christ didn't have breasts, neither father was light. He said, I am the horizo. Anybody who says peace is a false teacher. He said, do not think I came to bring peace. I came to bring a sword of division that will divide. Horizo, the horizon, the day from the night, the dark from the light. He is Father the Ram. He said, before Abraham was, I am. Remember? He is the Lamb of God, correct? David declared him the Lamb. From Abraham was from, remember? Abraham. He said before Abraham, he was birthed before, correct? He is light. He's the divider, the separator. Remember, the one who divides the wheat from the chaff, the weeds. People are lost in space, and they're north and south. Jesus, birthed in the middle of the winter. Baby Jesus, manger. There were many men, magi. They could speak the celestial gospel. He said in Matthew, in the stars, sun, and moon. I hope you don't think you're spinning around on an earth. Earth is the ruled. Heavens is not above your head. No. That's your space farce. Like Mr. Warp Speed. Hope you're standing against this corporation. Halakha, Haggad ain't no different today. Jews and Gentiles, you got to be doing the same thing he did. You think he was okay? He turned over the money changer tables. I'm not talking about physical. This is a meek testament, but he whipped the people selling the doves. Remember the exchange? We're the money changers. This corporation, been a part of the beast. I don't serve it anymore. I haven't stepped away. I'm not part of it. I'm not a capital letter corporation. I'm here, right? I'm here, right? Still, no matter what they do, your flesh will suffer. So I hope you're standing against this corporation that goes and enslaves nations under the dollar. So that's part of this. Maybe you lack bis. That's not my fault. He said, my people shall perish. I'm just supposed to be charitable with the gospel. That's what he said. Go spread it. Do what I did. He said in Matthew. Remember, follow after me. He said in Romans, remember Paul, he said, conform. I'm the horizo. I divide the day from the light, the dark from the night. Oh, yes, I do. I'm the one bringer of this. Not a spinning ball. Hope you're not on this planet of the apes. There's no such thing as planet in scripture. Where does it say the word planet? I rebuke you. Get out of here, Jesus. Sex pistol, north and south, sun god, Baal, Baphomet. Jezebel is what you are. Ahab married Jezebel. This isn't about space or aliens. It's not a being. There's no such thing as a being, a physical alien. An alien is something that is foreign and obviously foreign to your dialect. So you're spinning around on a ball teaching people all this twisting and corkscrewing and spinning through on the ball or in a block in a third dimension, rock from the sun. You watch too much television. You read, yes, you've been told lies since you were a child. Got stung by the spelling bee, didn't you? What do you know? Yep, spelling curses and curses. There we go again, getting channeled. Put down the remote. Nobody has a remote anymore. I got a Rolodex. You got one of those? Now it's a playlist. It's a corporation. It's not a constitutional republic. Get over it. Pride is a sin. One nation under God. Which God are you speaking of? Why don't you ask Mr. Chump if he believes in Christ, Jesus, the Hamashiach bird, not in the middle of winter like the one he has his house decorated with. Apollyon, the sun god. Mithra at the time of the Hamashiach. Christ, the anointed, is a pagan term. Christ, Antichrist. How about an AI? You're an Antichrist idiot is what you are. The man has this decorated 58-story Babylonian tower in Babylon, Manhattan, with that Mithra sun god at the time of Rome. Baphomet, Baal, Jezebel. Ahab married Jezebel. She went after that sun god that his house is decorated with. No, that's not angry. Uh-oh. Got someone. Get him out of here. Get him up against the wall. We'll play a little Pink Floyd for these people. You need entertained? You wouldn't know the difference between anger and passion. Do you stand up against this corporation or you support the beast? 25% of Americans tax it. How much people pay taxes? How many hundreds of billions of dollars was sent to Ukraine and Israel and Iran? Grow up. Nobody's angry. It's called passion. So you might want to stand against this, because if you stand against this corporation, then you're not going to be judged as corporation. When you seventh seal, shofar, the ram's horn, the great and dreadful day of the Lord, if you act as a corporation, you're going to be judged as a corporation. I'm not judging you. He said, judge with righteous judgment. You just never had anybody judge you righteously. He said, agape, love thy neighbor like that, love thy enemy like thy love thyself. So I have to do it to myself. It is what it is. Life ain't Burger King. Can't always have it your way. He said, deny yourself. Take up your cross daily. He didn't hang on a cross, but he tells you to carry a cross. He didn't carry a physical cross. Does anybody want to hang you from a tree? He said, follow after me. Does anybody want to put holes in you? Throw you in jail? How many times you been thrown in jail for standing against the corporation? It's all going by the script. Don't worry about it, Elizabeth. You're not going to change it. So you can make a reference, but Father created all things. So he's the writer, the author, and the editor. Creator of all things. Beginning and end. Alpha and Omega. Creator of all things. Everything written. Everything that ever was. He tells us these things, right? I create good. I create everything not written. Everything that ever will be. I do all these things after my own pleasure, and I do them after my own counsel. And I, God, create evil. People, that really pisses off these religious people, huh? No, evil creates evil. No, Father, he said, I create all things after my own counsel, after my own, and my own pleasure, and I create evil. So there's no such thing as luck. Hope you're not one of those who thinks you can win. Father knows where the dice are going to land. He can't cheat or stack the deck. It's a game to you, but they play like a card. You ever play 52 pickup? What do you mean end times? Caroline Eyes, what do you mean? Don't call for the end. Don't pick dates. Don't be a date picker. Paul said you'll see the day approaching. You mean like the remnant? So what do you mean end times? They've been saying that since the beginning. What do you mean end times? It goes by the shofar, remember? Ram's horn, seventh, the final trump. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good. So stay in the word. Yep. You will see all these things come to pass, right? There will be wars and rumors of wars. God used to require war. God used to require sacrifice, blood, and an altar, death, fee, fine, rituals. Yes, Father was, yes, I am. Yes, Father. Remember, do be respectful to your father. He's not your dad. Come on. I'm a veteran. Get a little loud in here. Don't freak out. What do you lick the boot every time somebody, hey, let me see your license, registration, insurance? That's freaking Nazi Germany. Stasi freaking in the U.S. is not, this is not, no way. No, this is not some free nation. There's no such thing as freedom. There's no such thing as free will. Father creates all things, so there can't be free will. It's called idolatry, porneia, the Greek word. You study any Greek? Remember the time of Rome, the sun god Mithra? The one trumper, Mr. 45, 4 plus 5, not ironic. is 9. 4 plus 11 is what? Let's add 2 more. That's 11. Listen, hey, Zach, what are you preaching about? What do you better be preaching the narrow way? Hold on, we're going to stop the chat. What are you preaching? A preacher? You go touch kids like a Catholic preacher? Or like the Roman sun god, Mithra? 2 plus 2 equals 5. Oh, we got some common core in here. Come back at me there. You're preaching. What is a preacher? I hope you don't preach. I think all religions. There's only one gospel. So if you don't know the gospel, you add ease. Don't say a word. Or you're a scorpizzo. And you add a jot in Revelation. I am pastor Revelation. I am pastor apocalypse. You know what those words mean? Might want to define the words you read. You would find them in the Old Testament. And remember, Greek was Rome. It's an old Jewish book written in Greek. You have a lexicon, a concordance. You study these words. He said, don't add a jot. You know what a jot is? So where'd you go, Zach? Was it Zach? I think it was Zach. Come back at me. You're going to go preach to people. If you're not preaching the gospel, I mean, preach. There's a difference between a teacher. He said, call no man teacher. That's the word prophet. Probably shouldn't open your mouth to anybody. He warns of false teachers. So I warn you of every church and everyone that's a religion, they're all false teachers. There's not one good church on this rock. They're all the synagogues of Satan, just like at the time of Rome, right? Christ, as he called them out, remember, he gave them the rabbis, which later became the synagogues, remember, which was the Pharisees, those who could speak the Old, remember, Testament, not forward, twist, change the Old Testament. They, remember, translated it to Aramaic. They would call them the Sadducees. Do you know any history? That was very much on topic. All right, okay, well, I'm trying to speak. Where did somebody go? It was Zach. I think he was talking about he was going to go preach. I asked if a preacher, Council of Nicaea. There we go. Well, that wasn't a Council of Nicaea. That was the Edict of Toleration. You're not correct. The Council of Nicaea was although I rebuke all Catholics and rebuke all Christians, they took and transliterated. That means they literally didn't change any jot or letter or definition. That's the word aletheia in Greek. Truth. Do you speak any Greek? So we'll just stick to the gospel. If you're not teaching, Zach, you need to keep your mouth closed, and you better go tell everybody there. Go see Brother Jim at Grace and Truth Ministries right here on YouTube, graceandtruth.net. Set everything else down. It's vain. It's worthless. It's worth your time. It's not. If you're not using an interlinear Textus Receptus, the accepted text, this book, right here, there's only one. Then I rebuke you. Go somewhere else. Go study your other Jesus, your other gospel. I rebuke your teachings are vain. You know what that means? It's worthless. If you're not, he said, I am the hados. If you're not narrowing your translation and literally you add a jot, as he said, or your own definition, that's the word pornea in the Greek. You know what the word pornea is? You know what the word abyss is? You might want to start defining these words that are in these books before you try to teach. And he said, call no man teacher. That is the word prophet. A false prophet is a scorpizzo. There's only one God, one baptism. Yeah, there was only one God, but he sent his son because he had to fulfill the Gentile nation. What do you know about that, Zach? There's Zach. He came back. That's explain what a baptism. Define what the word bapto or baptizo means, Zach. Stop the chat, everybody. Let's give you, if you want to play. Now, 666 is number what? Put it in the chat, and if you know the truly answer, let them fall on their face. Come on. 666 is the number what? Zach, speak up. You know a lot more than me. What do you mean you know a lot more? This ain't about me and you. I'm just trying to get you to hold. Hey, whatever. Move along. Then move along. You can't turn a goat into a sheep. Not possible. Father already chose who will be the bride if they didn't blot their name out by pornea. Any Greek? I just asked you to define something there, Zach. A false teacher. I'm giving definitions of what I'm speaking. Now it's about me and you? Said, love thy neighbor like thy enemy, like thyself. Can't change it up at even a tittle or a jot. Can you define anything? I am Pastor Revelation. How about the word revelation? Can you define that? Otherwise, brothers, sisters, go see Brother Jim at Grace and Truth Ministries here on YouTube, graceandtruth.net. It's not a church, it's a classroom. You might learn something. You might actually start defining, and he only teaches out of the interlinear. So, so let's not worry about these things. Amen. Seven crows. Why do everybody always ask about it? But that's a good question. So you asked to pray, pray. Can you even define the word pray, Zach? Try the word pray. How about baptism? Bapto and baptizo. I've given you already. You're going to go teach something. I don't think you can keep up. Yeah, I'm not trying to know anybody more. I'm still always in a learning mode, always in a study mode. Father's always put me through the test. So thank you for the always beetle. But we don't sup with vipers, whether it's somebody going to go out and teach or preach. The difference between teaching, I said, teach is the word prophet. He said, call no man teacher, or false teacher is the word scorpidzo. I'm giving you definition. Go see Brother Jim. Once again, he defines every word. He's a literal walking concordance. If you don't study with the concordance, you don't know what that is, then you might want to speak up in this ministry, this High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. I don't do this in a house made by hands. Very busy, do what I do. Father puts me through extremes at others because I'm a prior military veteran pig. I was a prior law enforcement, and I was no better. Jesus isn't coming back. Well, which Jesus are you speaking of? Your mom? That's a pretty silly name, huh? Who's your mother? So tell me that. Anybody teaching, and I wouldn't ask anybody, brothers and sisters, just because I know the word, and I'm only speaking when I say brothers and sisters to those he chose. I'm not calling anybody, my brother and sister. People come in here and call me brother. Don't call me brother. I don't know you yet. I'll know you by your fruit, what you put in this chat. This isn't just a little kiddie, religion. I rebuke all of them. If you're one of those religious people, leave. He said, Father don't like us to have a name in front of our, don't gain anything by doing this. I have been uncharitable because I've been busy. Life, like I said, Father kicks my, a big measure that's been poured out on me. And being that I know BIS, been given this prior connection to being a military veteran, I know better what we do. And I know that we've been slaughtering nations with 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. And if you're okay with that, then leave. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay that we still stomp the hell out of everybody. Oh, you're going to come play or pay. We shipped out all our jobs overseas for cheap Chinese crap, so I'm not okay with it. It just is what it is. And that's why this ministry is a little bit different than Brother Jim. I apologize. I'm me. I'm not Pastor Jim Brown. Okay. I'm Pastor Revelation. I do what I do here. I have a celestial understanding BIS, that if you're going to speak of end times, you might want to understand there of a celestial firmament. So you might want to start counting off seals and all these things it says will come to pass. You better know that book of Revelation. You better know it from Genesis to Revelation. And I don't care about extras. I only care about the gospel, and it's not about caring like I'm uncaring. There's nothing else anymore. It's about Shiloh redeeming the bride. It's it. I don't care. It's a wedding. If it ain't about a wedding to you, then this ain't the channel for you either. It's about a wedding, There's a celestial gospel above your head, and I've been blessed to give that understanding and to be charitable with others. So I can't hide that. That's part of what he made me. Just being a MAGA, you have to understand and know. Most people have missed that the most beautiful thing in history that birthed the king, my love, the one who redeemed the bride, he'd come back. No, Father, I have their sins covered. Remember? We had that deal. Remember, I paid. Remember that physical price that was all done? I remember that postmarked when blood and the sacrifice, the Passover. Remember all that ritual, fee, fine, I covered all that with my flesh, Father. Remember, they hung me on a tree, Father. They called me the King of the Jews. And now it's spiritual. It's a spiritual testament. It's a spiritual covenant. It's a spiritual bride. It's a spiritual Israel. Father's not in a house made by hands. He's inside of us. Our flesh is blotted out. The law of flesh. Any man who puts you under peace, flesh, under that gospel is false teacher, scorpidzo. That's why I came in here and roasted Zach, because that's what we're supposed to do. Put the word on him. That's your mother is what it is. It's your instruction. It's that tree of bis, knowledge that, that we're warned of eating from. But he said, my people shall perish for lack of bis. So I'll throw him in the abyss. So it's a fine line. He will reveal many things to us. Keep your face out of anything other than the gospel. If you're not learning one word studying at a time, you're cheating yourself. You can use, I call it a cheat code. The concordance gives you the ability. You don't know where I still don't know. I'm not Brother Jim Brown. I could walk the concordance and talk definition and give you the base. He remembered stuff in school. I didn't listen in school. I didn't care about school. Whatever. It is what it is. But I do appreciate people who can understand that this is a spiritual Israel. It's a spiritual testament. It's like I said, it's always a test. It's a test for each one of us, get a different measure. We don't all walk this rock and get the same measure. He will pour out when that final seal, that shofar, that ram's horn, the final trump. That's why I'm so on, Mr. Badman Orange, because they're going to make these things come to pass. You don't be the 45th president and the 47th president and then be Mr. 9/11 for no reason. There's not another channel talking about this. So, we have to, in the modern day, use our best knowledge of what's going on around us. Like he stood against that halakha haggadah, we would have to do the same thing in our time. And that's why he gave me such a large measure, and I don't ask for it. It's a burden. It's hard to carry it every day. Still, my son, haven't talked to him. Don't know if I'll ever see him again. All these things never go away from me. I still have a life. Got to live. Animals that need, my care and things like that. But anyways, it is what it is. Like I said, life ain't Burger King. Tell yourself that. I've told people that for decades. Laugh and try to move forward, because it's supposed to be rough. This life is not supposed to be easy. There's nothing. If your life is easy, I'm judging you righteously. This hados, it's a sieve, it's a narrowing, it's a long suffering, is what he said. Through much ellipsis, he said we must go through. You know what I'm saying? Paul, and they stoned that old man. Threw him off a cliff backwards, won some little throwing river rocks. The Romans were masters at torture. Stoning was not a process. People have forgotten the Old Testament and how this, how blessed we are to have, the covenant of the Hamashiach, to fulfill the contract, to be literally nailed and divorce his bride for the word pornea, or idolatry, for making up their own version of the text and changing. Even in this last Revelation text, he said, don't add a jot. That's why I don't know if anybody does, covers Apocalypse. I am Pastor Apocalypse, like this ministry has done. There's thousands of hours there for you to celestially understand, the birth of a king in 2 and 3 BC. Because the Magi, as a Magi, understand these things. I can tell you what all the teachings of the Magi of past, have shown you through, walked you through this tapestry of time, back and forth in future, and old things, when I did a lot more whiteboard teaching, and just lots going on in my life. And I just still been doing some. I've been trying to, like I said, been super busy. I'm trying to add to this ministry. I'm trying to, I need to move this ministry south, and I need to move this ministry over to the other location. And so I'm still trying to obtain funding for all these things. And I don't want to talk about it on the ministry. Thanks for coming in, Crows. I haven't seen you in a while. So I've been off obviously for a minute here, but I'm always in the word. Faith, got to have faith in this, like I said, I don't know if I'll ever see my son again. So that's the only reason I get up every day, is to fulfill his walk, because I don't have anybody like that, of the connection to be with on the other side, other than the people that I will connect through, who Father already wrote from the foundation of the world. My brothers and sisters in Christ were already going to be, their names will be called out. That's my mother. I have a family. I don't have one here, but I have, I call this often the black sheep, broadcast. We do these productions here because many of us are set apart, and we didn't ask for that, or we don't go with the flow. You know, when the whole world's going off a cliff and you're the only one going in the other direction, they're going to call you crazy, right? So it's probably you. You know, you're supposed to be separated. You're supposed to not be a part of this world. You're supposed to be in it, but be not of it. He said, come out of her, my people. So please try to remember that, you know, this walk that we go through, this ellipsis, this tribulation, this repentance, this baptism, this, you know, salvation is a process. Sozo, we must endure to the end to be saved. We have to go through suffering. And I warn through the channel, because he gives me this to know that don't listen to anybody who's telling you peace. That's anti-Christ and that's a false teacher. That's why I can bring you to Mr. Chump, Mr. You know, not politics. You know that I don't care about politics, about none of it. Every day I'm exposing what no other channel has exposed. These camps, guys, camps, millimeter camps. You know, I don't care. I'm not going to be wrong. I'm not. I know it. But it is what it is. It's all part of this. You know, everything will come to pass before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And I'm not telling you something that hasn't already happened, because remember, I'm not some prophet. The prophecy was nailed to a tree that day. So you can get that out of your head. If you think I'm predicting anything, I don't make predictions. These people put this stuff out for decades. You know, there's no such thing as 1,000. There's no such thing as the number 0. All these additions that many of you guys speak are just additions to where you think it's 2025 and it's not. And all these things are not acceptable because my BIS knows, you know, I'm not twisted into that I've been given something where, like, I really wish I could explain more, but I don't want to confuse it with the ministry. The time is a process, just like repentance. It's not some, you know, there's one judgment, though. That's what that's what this is about. I want to continue to point to this through this ministry, that it's not pointed out that most people have fallen to the understanding you could have died 1,000 years ago. Whether you believe in an incarnate of a different flesh, that is definitely going to happen again. He says, I, as revelation, pastor revelation, I'm not going to fool you. I've been trying to prepare you to be without flesh. He destroyed the physical temple. That's everything in his word says that. Come out of her, my people. Be in it, but be not of it. I'm going to leave this place. I'm going to go to where my Father's house is at. It's not in a temple. The Most High does not dwell in temples made by hands. That's what he said twice. That's what makes it a contract. You're going to die. One day you're going to raise, and you're not going to get a flesh vessel. Get over it. That's what they're afraid of. That's what these elite, why do you think they're clinging to life? Life extension. We'll let you upload you to the interweb and all this nonsense. And if they get out of here, why are they all digging underground bunkers? So that's a bad man word to say. Don't say that. Put you on the list of the NSA. Apologize for the 2 witnesses. So, but, you know, some soup agency, you know, Alphabet Corporation. I rebuke this corporation. I rebuke everybody who stands with it and does not stand against it. You're not Christ-like. If you don't stand against this corporation, you keep supporting it, and you don't set yourself a part of it, and you know that it's going on. We have 1,000+ military bases in 180 countries, and no matter if it's red or blue, Democrat, Republican. So can't be saved from your sins, Berger. You don't know what the word saved is. You don't know what the word sin is. If you'll define the words you save, you might, that will help you out. So, but taking roots. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not playing. I don't have time to play with that, guys. Like I said, look at them. They're all digging in. They're getting ready. You think time is something, and you think time is a circle on a clock, and everybody's all digital now, but with a hand pointing at a number, that's not what time is. And time isn't a number. Time is not a number. You have a celestial clock, and we do those things to grow food, and, you know, they traveled by night and the moon, but you've made time into something like get up, sleep for 8 hours. Nobody's ever slept for 8 hours, and nobody's ever afraid of the dark. Grow up. They traveled by night because it was cooler. Remember, this was the 12 tribes of Israel in the desert. Grow up. You don't know what these books are about. So, see, I'm saying a religion to me, this is, there's a celestial firmament above your head, and it's not something you can go into the sky. You know, that's why I rebuke all that. And I'm thankful for the BIS that hopefully people are not entertained by this madness. I'll be called crazy, but so was Noah for 126 years, and he ain't got nothing on Christ because he's still preparing that place. Remember, come back and receive you. Have you got it yet? Well, come back and receive you. You ain't going to get no flesh. When the dead raise from the ashes and the dust, if you're going to be with Father, he doesn't have flesh. You're going to take you to where his Father's house is at. His Father does not have flesh. He left the flesh. He was here. He had to birth the flesh vessel to fulfill all flesh, the covenant of Jews and Gentiles. Simple. Keep your religious stuff out of here. Somebody smells a little religious in here. I don't like that. He said I don't have to like. I can hate the sin, not the sinner. So don't come in here with that nonsense. We rebuke all that. That's not part of the go see Trucker, go see Brother Jim Brown at Grace and Truth Ministries. You want any historical, that's his story, one side of a book. This is the Council of Nicaea, where they actually defined all the words, a 12th century old book. If you really want to study, you can go see Jim Brown. He always field any biblical questions. Bible, see, this is Bible. I call it scripture. It was written on stone, pounded out in tablets. I'm older than dirt, but that's okay. In a lot of ways, I don't do this whole silly nonsense of, knowing that we hold on to this flesh. He will take this flesh for an undetermined time, because you're going to be with Father. He don't have flesh. So you might want to write down some notes, because this ain't some silly religious channel. Although it's high desert faith and truth, some people ask for the silliest things. And I've made many mistakes in the past in my walk, and sozo, my continual walk, and to endure to the end, salvation. To be saved, we have to endure. You can't be saved. Nobody's saving you. Father said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, no one, not one of them, not since the beginning of time. I don't care how old, if you think of being incarnated over, whether I don't do this whole 6,000 year spinning ball camp, whatever this, Cro-Magnon, Homo sapien, Demosoben. There are many, but I do that. There comes a time, I'm sure this, whatever meat suit here with underneath it will go into the dirt, and there'll be a new, this is the way it works. It says that for little season. So, but if you want the best record on anything historical or biblical or scriptural, you need to see Jim Brown. You know what I'm saying? He's going to give you the best teaching on that. He doesn't have, there's nobody can even come close to his teachings. So you're just wasting your time with anybody else. And I'm not putting the man on a pedestal. Whatever, it's not about, I knew that. I just hope it's not too much abstraction. People get over it, Summertime, and I got a lot of things to do here. Like I said, I only have so many days. I told you I don't do time like guys, because I have off grid and I live quite different than most people. I'm not part of this corporation, and I've already left this, and just don't have the same. I don't live by a clock, or I don't tell nobody. You follow the ministry, I do what Father leads me to do. He gets me up. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm tired of seeing this is an apostasy and everything. I'll have to leave a message. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can hear me. There we go. Boom. All right. So I had some more. I put some more things for update them on the internet. Maybe it's that, but I'll get with that after. I'll get with that after the show is over here. We're done doing this, but I want to bring you to the understanding of this great and dreadful day of the Lord, because just as I was speaking of you of Demosoben and Homo sapien, Cro-Magnon man, we have many, I don't want to bring your timeline to that, because then that's going to confuse you of where you're at right now. These books talk about a time where you'll see these celestial events that he spoke of, in past. And they came to fruition. And as I was speaking, the birth of a king in 2 and 3 BC was the Magi had wise enough to pay attention to the gas Jovian giant, the one that gets its name, the king, because it's out the longest in the night sky and is the brightest, that is the first of the four Jovian gas giants, Jupiter. I remember he was the lion from the tribe of Judah. So I am more wise to these celestial teachings because, again, I don't feel as if I've been here once, but have been here many a times. And I don't have a blip of a memory from my past of any of it. But I know that there's certain things about me that make me more been just given, I guess, the what you would might call time. I trade time instead of gaining money. I gain this, trade it for knowledge, and then I can cash in later because I don't need money. Is pointless. We have to have the bills paid. I'm not saying like just like that. It's the agape. If it's all you get up and all you seek and search is how to meet the almighty dollar. And I know it's tough in this day and age, but you know, we must have extra oil. How's that for most people? I can't even get by now. I know it's hard for a lot of people, but Father gives everybody different measures. So some of us create a lifestyle around the word, and it, instead of chasing, fame or fortune or but it's different. Like I said, I don't want to, again, I want to say that we all get a different measure. Remember, he said, give that shekel to the rich man because he hid what he had. He tells us, do not hide that light in a basket. So that's why I have to come on here and give an update because I'm sure people are concerned, but I hope you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the word right now. This corporation is an apostasy, and it's unbelievable how little people care about what this corporation does to other nations. And maybe you're not accountable. Maybe you don't have a time to do that. But I've been blessed with an abundance of this because of time, what you would call time. I traded instead of trading. I'd have $1 at the end of the month. Even as a single dad, I made sure my son didn't go without, but I wasn't trying to gain. I had family that had lots of money, but I ran away from that. I don't want, I want more gospel. I want more word. Father called out to my heart since I was young to just kind of separate myself. And it gave me a mindset that I don't have to please this world and be worried about, like I told you earlier in the stream, when the whole world's running off a cliff and you're the only one going in the other direction, they're going to call you bat crazy. So I do appreciate try to give you guys an update. I'm just, remember I got so much going. It's coming up, lady, on a year, one actual year since that day of the lives of the SWAT raid. And I can't accept it, but it's Father doing it. So your election, poor so somebody's got some of that hocus pocus going in here. So, but yeah, it does. I don't know how it irons itself out. There's nothing that is even explainable in it. It is very everything's going good. Like I said, I've been making some changes. I've had to trying to obtain the funding. I've entered again with this contract, and I need to obtain a large sum of money like I did the last time. And by selling things is the only way. I don't want to burden the ministry, so that's why I've pretty much there's lots of things I'm trying to take care of. I want them to drop this case immediately because there's no case and it's only a lawsuit. So it's so time involving. I don't want to involve my whole life with lawsuits. I want to farm and eat food that's non-genetically modified and treat my body with an abundance of food that I lack, in my diet, and never eat anything out of a box bag or can again, but I tried to do that here, you know what I'm saying? But the Father didn't allow it to happen, so I've let it go, and I have somebody who's a farmer with me now. Group is a farmer, and so I'm not. We can do it, but I'm not done. I want us to continue to create an abundance so that I don't know how long this dog and pony show will go on. A pretty sneaking suspicion that things aren't going to, in the time as you think, will work like you think, because you don't want to pay attention to what's happened in the past. So you won't think it will happen again, and not as a prophet or anything like that. Remember, I just see what they're doing. So I've been able to get quite several things, correct many times. And it's not because I'm making predictions. They put these things in, like I've told people before, it's been thousands of years. These 8 families have basically reigned over now 50% of the world's wealth. It's just, it's how it works. Father created it like this. It's like a divide. Again, that's what this is. It's a test. It's, you mix red and blue, you get purple, correct? Shouldn't be very hard to figure out, why we're not supposed to be a part of these things, but people keep supporting this, and that's why it continues to just grow and get bigger and bigger. And, woe to those who call good evil and evil good. And we should be somebody came in early, it's end times. Well, things aren't going to get better, not in scripture. So great again and peace and safety is all anti-Christ and anti-teaching. And that's why hopefully in this ministry, some people can, glean, as you're able to go and glean from a field. You can't do any of these things now. All this has been changed again. All these same things that we did in past that Father sent his Son to fulfill and to make sure that we're under this testament where we're not supposed to be flesh and fee and find. We're now the largest, 1,000. Rome didn't have 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. So we're basically an extension of Rome, right? We still got the Vatican, but anyways, moving on. There you go. Now we got he said, call no man father. You got your, like you got your Gentile Messiah, the Gentile Messiah. That's what they call Trump, right? The Gentile Messiah. So hope you see what they're doing. We're not supposed to, he didn't say, take your head out of the game. If I know Father, he always saves the best for last. I am Revelation. So that's my reward is after I die. I do not care if these worldly things, put my treasure not of this earth. Earth is the rule. My treasure's in heaven. It awaits after I die, the great and dreadful day of the Lord, where all flesh will raise at one time. Whether the world's 6,000 or 60 million years old, whether species or not, one day of judgments. That's it. That's what they're afraid of. Nobody's going to point that out to you. That's okay. Nobody knows about this revelation. Nobody will go through this book. We'll go through this celestial book. Firmament. I given you again things he's told that he was here, walk this rock, his flesh. He birthed a flesh vessel through the Pisces. Remember the birth of the age? 2 and 3 BC, the Magi, Jupiter, and the morning star, not Lucifer. That's not a word. There's no such thing as Lucifer. That does not exist. That is not a word. You can just take and scratch that word out because it was never written in the scriptures one time. You want to see how far the world has gone? Anybody who refers to that word should be judged righteously. They're an idiot. They don't know what the hell they're talking about at all. And that's kind of an idiom, isn't it? Well, and different between an idiom and an idiot. So, my people shall perish for lack of abyss. I'll throw them in the abyss. So, I hope people are paying attention, but I can't turn a goat into a sheep. You know what I'm saying? It's not possible. I'm not trying to change anybody. I need to worry about not adding to his book. If I'm going to come in here and talk about it, he said, don't add a jot or you're a false teacher. So that's why Zach came in here. Oh, I'm going to this teaching and preaching. I'm like, hey, you a Catholic teacher touching preacher touching kids? Because I don't like any of these churches. I'm not saying that it is what it is. I don't like kids to be touched, whether Mohammed or Catholics or whatever vain religion you are that is in a temple made by hands. And I rebuke you. You're not a disciple of Christ. Let me give you some true gospel. You're not a disciple of Christ if you're not carrying your cross. Cross is a crucifixion. It's a spiritual crucifixion. We are supposed to be crucified, separated, in prison, enslaved, divided. Remember, day from night, dark from night, light. So Romans 8 and 29, former channel Predestined for Light, now High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. He's the separator. He's the one who brings up that ray of light at the morning horizon. He separates that dark from the light. People are very dark, aren't they? Dim-witted. Lucifer is not the morning star. That's not a word that ever existed in history. until recently. And now they've added this. So that word doesn't even, that's like Easter bunny. And we know what that is. That's Ishtar, the sex goddess, the one that Trump has his house decorated with, the wife of Apollyon, the one who had sex with his mom. See, why I don't like kitty touch much? I bring it up on this channel. Nobody wants to talk about it. You know, you bring up circumcision, they think you're talking about the male genitalia. Paul tells us to circumcise the flesh. People can't understand there's a spiritual thing going on and there's a physical thing that was already fulfilled. So isn't that a beautiful thing? If Father's brought you to, you know, can't turn a goat into a sheep. It's not possible. The abyss is knowledge. If he says, you know, busos and bathos, those all words mean the same thing in Greek. Bis, B-Y-S-S, B-A-T-H-O-S, and B-U-S-O-S is the word. K-N-O. Play old Sesame Street with you guys or something. I don't mean to go there. Little Muppet on a string, Fraggle Rock or something. One bad, all right? Bis, knowledge, K-N-O-W-L-E-D-E-G-E. Write it down. Write it down. Maybe you'll do better if you just get a piece of paper. Maybe I'm too all over the place for you or something. No, I'm not. You just don't study enough. President Antichrist? President Antichrist. Well, he's not the Antichrist because he's not the seventh king. Remember? There's two kings. This is the one. You see what I'm saying? Remember? Two kings. There's another crown here. But one's the other way. But anyways, so those kings, there's one in the abyss. In Revelation, blind 11. Remember, Mr. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11. Why do you have a symbol of Antichrist on top? What is the Antichrist on top? You know, Christ is a pagan term, so you know. You might want to know what you're talking about. I'll help correct you if you say something. You're an idiot. And you say something out of the definition. I'll help you bring you to the definition. That's what we do. We rebuke each other with light in here. So if you talk to some works of darkness, do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. One bad apple upsets the whole apple cart. We'll toss you right out of here. A little leaven leavens the whole lump, like cream that always rises to the top. Yeah, baby. You might want to get with the times here. You know, hey, somebody talking about end times. They open up a seal there. Remember, Lucifer was not the morning star. Venus was the morning star. 2 and 3 BC. That's what birthed an age. Birth Christ. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to forget that it already happened. Hadn't happened in over 2,600 years, and the whole world didn't fall on their face. Nobody cares. That's why I know nobody sees what's going on at all. Remember, he visited John at the island of Patmos as an angel. People think an angel is like something out of the sky. Angel, I am an angel. Are you pissed off now? Oh my God, honey, did you hear what this guy just said? He called him. Do you know what the word angel is? Angelos, you ever define in Greek? That is, remember, the shofar, the ram's horn. Remember, David declared him the Lamb of God that would make him father the ram. They would blow that horn. Dude, I'm a veteran, remember? Can't get him up. Play Reveille in the morning. It's a message. That's the word messenger. So I can give you the message in this book. I'm supposed to spread it. So there you go. Icon of sin. Probably can't even define the word sin. Speaking like some Babylonian psychobabble. Wants to do drugs. That's society, brothers and sisters. They want to get just creamed out of their brain. They don't want to think about anything anymore. Look around. I mean, it's a pretty tough world to be living in when you got America with 1,000 military bases stopping you for 50 years, making you pay for oil with the US dollar because they, said, oh, no, we're not going to store that gold in Fort Knox. Shh, we'll not talk about that. We'll just, hey, now we're going to guard all these OPEC nations. We'll broker us off this Bretton Woods agreement. And we'll have Henry Kissinger go over there and everybody just forget about me. We're going to guard the gold. Now they're going to audit the gold, right? Yeah, right. It's a mission mark to be out. Karak, character, Matt. The word character is the word sin, your karak or your character. Karak or character word. So to sin is to be off the mark. You're very close. Horseshoes and hand grenades, huh? In here? So, but definitely over the target there. You can, if you were playing horseshoes, you're in the same hados. to be off the target. That's what it means to your character. To sin is to be off the mark or the target. So you want to define the words, and they'll help you to make sure nobody can forward, twist, change, or pervert, because people are very perverted when it comes to adding jots and tittles to the word. Remember, he said that great and dreadful day of the Lord, don't add a jot. I'll blot your name out. You know what a blotting out? He'll blot it out, the handwriting, the ordinances in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. I bet you I'd go to any church on this rock. They don't know what I'm talking about. They're idiots. They're nobis. They don't study in the Greek. They don't study Hebrew. Hebrew word forward, I said earlier, to pervert, twist, change. They think they're on a planet. Father didn't create one planet. There's no scripture. Does it say the word Lucifer or planet? But people believe they live on a planet, and they believe. You can't believe in a God. That's not what the word believe is. You didn't study in school at all, did you? And I didn't at all. I didn't listen in school at all. I learned most of what I learned by, buckling down after school. And I did pass school. I went through high school and passed school. I just didn't apply myself. So Father was bringing me to another time and place and space, just like where I'm at now. Get out of my space. Nobody has that anymore. Never was on that platform. Or space is not above your head. If you think space, then hashtag ice wall. Leave. And I don't want to do flat or round in here. We're not children. You want to play Sesame Street and be puppet on a string and Fraggle Rock and balls and one bat, be entertained by crowns. You remember Corona? They're idiots. They don't see it. I had to create a world. Remember, I'll send the sword, the famine, the pestilence, and the beast. That's when your enemies surround you like a halo. You know, when you say halo, the white devil or the red devil? No, that's good. That's evil. I said I was an angel earlier, birthed as a celestial scorpizzo, and he said, believe no man. Remember, they pulled him to the side, not the Noah sign, like be drinking and partying, go buying a Tesla, and like nothing was happening. Like a thief in the night. He said he would come in the dark, right? Day from night, dark from light. He already knows. He already chose. Blotted it out. The handwriting of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. Might want to get with the times. We're not under the laws of flesh. Write it down if you need to. Go see Brother Jim Brown at Grace and Truth Ministries. Hard to keep up. I know most people, they get spun by this other religion. And Paul said, read it. Paul's writings. Thank you so much, Father, for making Paul all part of the gospel. We have to read all the books that Paul wrote. So I don't like to sit there and quote him, book by book like that, because then this comes off some religious channel. Go see Brother Jim. He has a whole different way of doing it. So, but you can't learn from Brother Jim what teaches, and he has 40 years of studying on me. Celestially, he's not a magi. He is a messenger. He can teach the gospel better than any man on this rock. Nobody can actually teach. I don't know anybody else is teaching it. I ask you now, who's teaching the gospel out there in the world right now? Which channel, which church made by hand, what other religion, what other gospel is teaching what's being taught here and at Grace and Truth Ministries? I only know of 2 places. And I'm not gloating. I'm not. Who else is teaching the gospel? The narrow way, hados, the ellipsis, tribulation, giving you a little bit of Greek, oligos, a little bit enough to understand, to get you on your own. I'm not doing it. Hados, that's what we're supposed to be, charitable with that. We're not supposed to hide that light in a basket. Remember what he said, give that shekel to the rich man. So love is patient as the word agape. So I'm sharing the agape of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. We're all going to be judged at one time. So don't start adding words in the book like Lucifer. That word never existed. You got people that call themselves Luciferian. That's nothing. I mean, that's how far society has gone. Nobody saw the star of Bethlehem. That birthed a whole new age. Fire, remember, take your son and put him on the altar as the eyes and put him in, Father doesn't require any of this. It was all fulfilled, remember? You know what I mean? People have forgotten this covenant. They think when it says Israel, it's some physical place over there in the Testament of the Old. It's not. There's no physical anything under this Testament. You might want to get with the times. We're not under, he said in the book of Colossians 2 and 14, through Paul, remember, once was written on tables of stone, tablets, remember, honor thy father, thy mother in the Old Testament, Genesis, remember, the 10 Commandments. That's blotted out. Your mother is not your mom, and your father is not your dad. So if you think that's what it means by honor thy father and thy mother, that doesn't have anything to do with your mom or dad. You're just some idiot religious, been spun forward Hebrew is the changed and twisted the word, and you just love it. You got your own Jesus, as Paul said, and your own gospel. That's why none of you can put, there's nobody else teaching this gospel. And I warn you, he says, call no man teacher. So blessed to just the gospel. You've been here long enough, King, to know the gospel now. I hold you 100% accountable because you've been here long. Thanks for coming back. And it's not that complex. It's a lifestyle. We live it just like being a farmer is something. You don't become a farmer overnight. You have, things like that. It's all part of a larger salvation, repentance, baptism. Time is a process. It's not just what you by some little number at a time in a job and you show. That's not time. So, but blessings for those who understand, brothers, sisters, it's part of the gospel is inside us. And as he said, I'll continue in Paul's writings. He said, once was written on tables of stone. Those laws were not in this is called a book. That is a Bible book. I don't like the word Bible. I don't ever say that. It's scriptures. These are written on tablets of stone. The law of Moses was given. The oral law was written on tablets of stone, pounded out. Remember, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. These laws, the Ten Commandments, these were written on tablets or scrolls. When it says the skies roll back like a scroll, you better understand what it means. When it says that, it's not a physical event. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Is there anybody out there? Hopefully somebody got that. Yeah, see? You don't need this body anymore. When you pass, you're going to be with Father. He is without flesh. I'm going to leave this place, go to where my Father's house is at. I'm going to prepare a place. I'm going to come back and receive you. I hope you're ready. The disciples, they know. Wrestle not against flesh, he said. Remember in Matthew, the disciples carry a cross. He said in Luke, his disciples know what it is that agape. That's why I gave you the simplicity of this ministry is not. Father wrote that on the bride and the bridegroom. Remember the bridegroom? That is, we are the bride. Wrote it on the hearts of the bride. The laws of tablets of stone were fulfilled that day when he divorced his bride, Israel, and called her out. And this is the I am revelation. In this book, he called her Israel a whore, because she was the mother of the word porneia, which means they added when Ahab married Jezebel that had nothing to do with aliens or fallen angels. I rebuke you. You're an idiot. You believe in a fallen angel? That doesn't mean out of the sky. An angel doesn't have wings. It says, you must be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Should be given the wings of an angel. She flee to the wilderness. She is the bride. This is a spiritual wings. Hello? Not Red Bull. Better wake up. Bull, Red Bull. Somebody's asking about those. Hi, Juniper girl. My little kitty's out there. Got the door open. What are you doing, girl? So, but either way, like I said, they're not going to want to hear this gospel. They're not going to want to hear this because that law is not, it was fulfilled that day. He divorced his bride, Israel. Yep. He called her out as a whore. She cheated on his agape. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Remember? Honor thy father and my mother. Not your mom and dad. Why these people don't take the time is not up to me. I'm just, because I've been given this bis, I have to share this. You know what I'm saying? So I know. Hopefully, like I said, people just get over it. I just, is what it is. What are you doing, girl? I'm going to have to go over and get him some more food and over there. I got it at the other place. So it's not that time yet, but anyways. Well, again, let's bring this back to front and center. This great and dreadful day of the Lord is not something that I've ever really, most people don't want to touch on this subject. This wedding, this heart of the bride. And remember, he tells our heart is in that book continuously filled with wickedness. So you can get that half cup, half full, half empty. That don't apply here. That means that cup will cuppeth runneth over continuously, would never stop running over with wickedness. So all these idiot religious people, oh God, especially the Christians, God knows it's in my heart. Christ is a pagan term, by the way. was the Hamashiach, and Christ is anointed in oil. He was the one. Again, these people add to this book over and over and over. So I don't hold people to the accountability. Father is the one who passes the condemning. I'm supposed to judge with righteous judgments. Show them to the light. Do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. If they're working in darkness, show them to the light 2 times and move on. You ain't turning a goat into a sheep. It's not possible. He said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would, since the beginning of time, and all judgments will come at one time. When the great and dreadful day, that final seal, that final shofar, that final ram's horn, right? That final message, that final great and dreadful day, Lord, it's the final trump, okay? They call it the trump. Remember the trump or the trumpet, right? Horn, they blow the trumpet, the horn. That's part of this understanding, you know what I'm saying? So, well, that's why I don't normally keep facial hair, because I don't like that people just don't take me very seriously. Because I had growing up, I'd always had a younger face, so people wouldn't believe I'm in my 50s, but that's okay. It is what it is. I don't care about looks. I'm not wrestle not against flesh and blood, but I knew that. But like I said, I have limited time here, and I'm trying to use the days here. There's only so many days, and I need to get a lot done. I have I feel like Father's working through this ministry, and he's going to create and expand this ministry to obviously even larger here in town. I have a contract with somebody that I have to fulfill, and I just ended up paying this ministry off not that long ago, if you remember. So I want to not include the channel with these things, and Father will provide most of these things. I've already obtained the assets for, and I just need to get them done and sold, and then I would absolutely want to expand this ministry to South America. I told everybody already I don't want to be here in this country. I hate America. I don't hate the people. Like I hate the sinner. No, I hate the sin. I can hate. It doesn't mean hateful. I hate this country. I hate what it's become. I hate that I served it. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like this country. If you're one of these people who thinks I have to like this country, then leave. I rebuke this country. It's disgusting, filthy, and the most disgusting thing to walk this rock right now. We literally shipped all our jobs overseas so people could have cheap Chinese crap. Now we got that Mr. Badman Orange in there, Mr. Blind 11 saying you either play or pay. And we shipped all our jobs overseas. It's ridiculous what we've done, you know? Yeah, she's being loud. I got the door open. I'll let you in, sweetheart, but you just want to go back outside. Last time you did. I'll let you in. I'm going to have to go to the other house and get your food. I have it over at the other house. So, don't come up here. Come here, Jennifer. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, sweetie. Come here, girl. Pretty girl. Pretty girl. You want to say hi, sweetheart? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Do you love the dad? Is that your brother outside? This is Juniper, Channel Kitty. She's been here since she was just a little tiny kitten. And she was the one that the police gassed. So I'm not, not supposed to be happy about that. So if I lived in a real country that, cared about a veteran and cared about a Sixth Amendment right, fair and speedy trial, they wouldn't be putting me through this right now. But I'm not worried about them. It's Father doing it. So I need to stand the test of time for Father and not worry about my flesh. And every day it hurts, but oh well, just my son is all I had. And now I don't have him at all. And he's still just, I don't know, same thing, they know where he's at, but they won't go get him, but doesn't make any sense at all. Called for service, they won't go. They can't do that. You know, remember that already. I'm not going into it. I'm just not going to go into it. It's ridiculous. So that's why I've been a little bit, like I said, overwhelmed. It's been, a year since the SWAT raid, and I'm just not. Uh, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this country. I don't like the fact that what they've done to my son is cruel and unusual punishment. It's a violation of all his rights. Cruel and unusual punishment is at the very least. Why my mother has not already filed a lawsuit is incredible. They should not be struggling. Neither of them should be struggling right now. And they're both, I don't know, dead still. I don't know. I don't know if I even believe the law enforcement, because I already told you guys, I already went through all that. And I think Paul Palmer's a Fed, and he gave me a big hand job is all I want from that guy, Mr. Ahmed. Remember? Look him at. He ain't even a. That's not adequate counsel. They're supposed to provide you adequate counsel. So I only recently came in the money to obtain, an attorney. And instead, I paid off the ministry, the land with it, instead of helping myself out, which probably could have helped my son. But I don't know if it's, they know where he's at. So what am I to do? Yep. See what I'm saying, Jack? I mean, so I know the wheels turn slow, but you have the right to fair and speedy trial in your Sixth Amendment. If they're going to criminally try you, and they can't criminally try me anyways, I have the right in my Fourth Amendment to be secure in houses, papers, persons, and effects to protect myself from illegal prosecution. I know that. I'm a prior pig, member law enforcement officer. I know that. So my right of, Fourth Amendment's been violated, Sixth Amendment's been violated, all these rights have been violated. So this constitutional republic is long gone. Um, you know, it's it just serves the beast now under a capital letter name that I brought you guys to. I know it gets a little bit hard to hear, but that's the system that is currently running this corporation right now. It's not a constitutional republic. It's corporation, and that's when you get tried. You get tried under a court capital letter name. All your paperwork's going to say that in the courts. So, but I'm not courted by I don't court with Walmart or I don't, I am Revelation, not these charges, these 6 felony charges that could land me in jail for the rest of my life. Uh, they're revised statutes, and I'm not a statute, so I'm not worried about that. I have not rested under the name capital letter. I've already been in open court and subrogated that my right of subrogation exercised and took over power of attorney of capital letter Tracy Werner. So I'm not that man. So I've been wise enough to be given that blessing to maybe that's why nothing's happened in the whole year, because they can't do anything. Yes, they've jailed me. Yes, they've stripped me of my Second Amendment rights. Yes, they've stripped me of every right. I've been violated of every right. The only right that I have left is my First Amendment right. So Congress gave the right. It was God protected constitutional right of the people, adjudicated through the House, Congress, and Senate. And if it's not done through that legislative process, and although voting, democracy is not, we don't live in a democracy, voting, that's part of our constitutional republic, original, but we don't have a democracy, and we don't have serfdom. Presidents aren't allowed to make executive orders that become law. That's not how that works. So Congress establishes the law. It has to go through the House, Congress, and the Senate. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. I would do it a million times over. But I have to do this for my son. If my son was guilty, which he was, he got in trouble and he went to jail. Nobody else went to jail but him. 5 guys get in trouble for the same thing, and your son's the only one to go to jail. You're going to start speaking up. It's because they've targeted him. And they have. And I can prove that. And that's why I think the feds are so afraid to get involved too. Because I've been pointing out the hypocrisy of our corporate soup alpha agencies, these, whether they're the Federal Bureau of Imbeciles or the Department of Jackoffs at the top, they're not constitutional. They were not adjudicated. We didn't put these corporations into place through our House, Congress, and Senate. That says repugnant in our Constitution. If you remember what the Constitution is, I took an oath to the Constitution. So I don't care if they come and try to kill me again. They already sent 30 men with guns out here. Go look at the SWAT raid. And I didn't resist, and I still got shot. My son didn't resist. He still got shot. I didn't get shot. Remember, I got grenaded to the face. My hearing's getting all weird. I don't know if it's the summer or whatever, but I try to tell myself it's the sun or whatever. My eyes all whacked out or whatever but I'm dealing with it. I can't go back, and they maimed me. They literally, scarred me for life, and I never did it. All those men will have to face one day. If all brought into an open court investigation and asked about Elijah's 180 hours, would any of them even know what that means? No, they wouldn't. They were just simple yes men. I've been a veteran. I know what it's like to kick down doors and not ask questions. I'm a prior SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics trained. I asked them to bring the SWAT team out to the businesses during the COVID. Maybe again, they're a little hell-bent and burnt about the fact that I called them out, that they're failures and they failed the United States public during the COVID. If there was any one good cop right now out there, these are supposed to be law enforcement officers, they would be pointing out that our freaking government is now allowing them to support corporate law. Mandates, I don't go on dates with men. That's not laws. I'm a prior law enforcement officer. There's difference between lawful and legal. You might want to get with your legal speak and understand the dialectus, the glossa of what you're speaking of. And this constitutional republic is long gone. It says if it was not adjudicated through our House, Congress, and Senate, which means our Congress says, remember, Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech. The only one that I have left that they haven't stripped me of, violated every other right, my Fourth Amendment. I don't have it as a way to even protect my animals. Remember, dogs could just come in here, cougar come down off the hill, just eat my animal. Not like chickens, done, nothing, because I opened up my mouth. So it's okay. I'm not concerned about any of it. If Father's doing this, it makes no sense. The one that really burns me every day to get up is to have to sit there and worry about my son and my daughter, when I know darn good and well that they should already have been supplemented because they kidnapped my daughter that day. You cannot take your body and your Miranda rights, if they're going to come and take you off your property, where your property. And this is where Adrian had been at. They knew she was here. They had to show cause on a warrant, probable cause, and that has to be signed by. There has to be an indictment. There's a jury indictment. But one is Dingo, and the other one's Queens Island, and Aussie, and his mom was half Dingo, so they're working dogs. Yeah, my dogs. See, that's another thing, man. My dogs got gassed. 5 tear gas canisters were my animals in here, and all I was pleading to the state of Oregon, which should have never got involved to begin with. Again, I asked them to bring those same SWAT teams during the COVID. And said, look, bring these SWAT vehicles out, protect our little teeny tiny redneck town out here where there ain't even a yellow light, because we're the largest dark sky sanctuary in the world. Yeah, Australian dingo. His mom was half dingo, and his dad was collie. Aussie, excuse me. That's the one laying on the ground. But either way, like I said, it happened, and it did. And then under your right, you have these rights, brothers and sisters. It tells us in the Constitution that if Congress is the one who established the law, remember, Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech, of the press, and of the religion. You have the right to peacefully assemble. You have the right to redress grievances. There's a reason why the First Amendment comes first. You redress grievances. First ballots and then bullets, right? And I'm not calling for arms. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I never did. That wasn't what, I actually, and they're still told 100% they're wrong, because after they maimed my dogs, scarred me for life, not going to be the same. It's been a year, and my lungs fill up with fluid almost twice a day from breathing too much tear gas, especially when I lay down, because it can't, flush through. You're not supposed to breathe 5 tear gas canisters. Like I said, I had a discussion with somebody who watched it, and they're like, dude, that's so obvious. They just wanted to get you dazed. And because they know you're a veteran, you would, you're to respond real quickly. But you didn't. They said, how did you sit there and take the grenade to the face and you shut the door? And then you just sat there and listen to your son get shot and then you play this, and you just go back, you shut the door, and you're just pleading your case. You're just 180 hours, you're just trying to plead the case. You're not being violent. You're not being anything. And then you get, and then you hear your son gets shot. You don't even, you're okay, Elijah. Everything's, thanks for cooperating. Thanks for your acting to try to just, you know, uh, so it was just a difficult time. And when I got close to this date, I needed to take a break. So try to be calm about it. Smith, if you did, man, it would be crazy because listen, man, it starts like 5 years ago at the COVID. Veteran trying to get the cops to stand in with the businesses, and I piss him off. This is the same time that my son got in trouble. 5 guys, they break into some empty buildings out here, little trailers and stuff that people can't make it a year out here or two. Gets cold at night and hot during the day. It's not this tropical paradise with 300 days of sunshine. So it's high desert living. So it's a different lifestyle. But him and a bunch of guys, and the whole story is behind it. It's just unbelievable. I tried to prevent it. The story would not even be fathomable. So this dad tries to get a hold of these people before with probation and parole, say, get this guy away from my son. I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't want him to get him in, I know this guy's hanging around. My son don't do meth, but that guy's over hanging around people who do that. And he's come to find out he was a rapist, moving within this county and not telling this to Lily Frank, the probation officer, parole officer. After this happens in a lot of countries, the movie would be unfathomable. You wouldn't even be able to go, okay, well, this actually starts out with multiple countries or counties across the United States have this program where there are more rapists, murderers, and pedophiles who release into their parole and probation programs to help fund the poorest counties. I live in the poorest county because I don't want to live near anybody else. I can't afford people ever steal my stuff. Just in this case, they bail my son out of jail with my retirement, and then the guy who's supposed to bail out my son steals all my stuff. Then later on the same story, remember I call the cops and say, hey, this guy's got killed, possibly stole my son, kidnapped my daughter. Her car's there. His car was there. He said he never talked to him for a year. Now his car's there. And come to find out, yeah, I called the cops and they know he's there, but they won't get him to this day. This is a live thing. We should be doing this live every day. You don't want to live this life. Nobody even believe it's real. Nobody even believe it's happened. I still don't know how that I didn't go drop to the ground like a sack of potatoes. I am a prior special weapons and tactics trained. Okay. I did my training in Honolulu, Hawaii, where all CERT training, SWAT training under LAPD. We went underground, did all the building entry training. I have all this same training. And all I ever did to try to do during the COVID was get them to protect our businesses. Because I know that whole thing was not what it was saying. I don't want to go into the detail. I've exposed that to great lengths enough to get a medical strike on this channel. So I have to be very careful when I talk about that. So, but nobody would, even fathom that I tried to get, my son, come to find out, he didn't know that he was hanging around with this guy. They ended up attacking my son right out the gate. And they're so pissed off at me that they rush him out of the county. They work him more days than I believe anybody else. And then 3 years later, they try to go after him. Even at halfway through probation, he could have got off if I would have had $47,000, which was supposed to be between 5 guys. But if I'd have paid it all off, I couldn't even tell. I had a phone call to his attorney. Hey, I want to get this young man off probation. He's done what he's supposed to do. He ain't gotten in no trouble. He already did his work back in, to come out to where you're at now. You know that you were part of that. I called, we set that all up. Now they're going after him. What? And then he did it over again. He did the hours. He supposedly only did a little bit of them, but then he had to do the rest of them. He did it all over, and they still wouldn't give him his hours. Then they said, but you're going to prison. And then he still had 3 months left. He still had 3 months left where he could have finished that with, and they never should have. See, that's why when they came out here and they've revoked his probation and put a warrant out for his, told him, come out to my property, come out here, and I would get it taken care of because this is where he got in trouble. And that I wouldn't let him leave when he got here. Absolutely not. He came to me and said, Dad, I'm supposed to surrender myself. I don't hear surrender, son. Don't you ever say that to me. I'm a veteran. You know damn good and well you just did these hours. Your wife just got off of working a full-time job and working 2 more days, 7 days a week to make sure you can get this taken care of, Elijah. We're not just going to let them sweep this under the rug. We're not doing this. You already did all this stuff when you left years ago. They're just attacking you because they're going after me, and they're attacking you because they know it gets to me, Elijah. So this has happened to Kevin. This has happened to people around me. I can document that people around me suffer because I'm a constitutionalist. That's what I am. You want to put a label on me? I'm a man of God. I'm a pastor. I'm a teacher, but I support the Constitution because this Constitution was protected, organic. The federal government was not put there to make laws. It was there to protect the God-given right of the people. And I took a note to the Constitution. My DD 214 says ETS, Echo Tango Sierra, my tour service does not end for this country. I don't hate this country, but it does not mean that I don't serve the people here, do not have a voice, that are too afraid to stand up. There are people who will stand up and sacrifice their own flesh because that's what happens. That's what we're supposed to do. I wrestle not against it. It is what it is. I don't know how I could take a grenade to the face. I've been SWAT certified, trained with earplugs. It rattles your brain, drops you to your knees, and you can't even hardly think straight, and your vision gets whacked. Yeah, we'll look at bam, right to the face. And I just shut the door and go on with whatever. Then have to listen to my son. Brrr, who in the hell shot my son? So some of these things have been a little bit difficult to deal with, and that's why I've just chose to kind of stop talking about it. It's so hard to think about every day when I have all the evidence that I already went to. Hey, my son's right here. Here's a guy who stole all my precious metal. He's got my passport. If I could just get my passport, and I could go down and show this district attorney with my passport, I bet you they would drop these charges. How would they know go get my son? Supposedly they came to this house, SWAT raided this house, shot me, hit me in the face, shot my son. I don't know where those rounds. I've never been able to speak to anybody about any attorney. Remember this attorney, Paul Palmer, attorney? I said it to his face. He's a Fed. He's a Fed. You know why the Feds won't get involved in this and actually make their move? They're chicken shit. Fuck the Feds. Apologize for cursing. I just don't care about this. That's the only right I have left is my First Amendment. So I apologize. I'm going to try not to, but it's just hard to sit there and think that, this is a constitutional republic that's supposed to have, the right of your Sixth Amendment to fair and speedy trial. And it's been a year and nothing's been done at all in the case. Nothing. It's like, again, it's the day of the slide, and, they haven't provided adequate counsel. That's a right of, fair and speedy trial. Adequate counsel. My Miranda rights have been violated. My Fourth Amendment's been violated. So it'll be okay. It's just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Father gives us all a very difficult and a different walk on this rock. So I'm sure he'll have an ending to this, but I don't see an ending until death. I'll struggle with this until some things take a long time for me to, hey, it's already been a year and they should already drop the case under my Sixth Amendment. I have a right to fair and speedy trial. That doesn't mean anything. But it is what it is, like I said, you take an oath to the Constitution. It doesn't, I have to, like I said, I have to tell veterans, remind veterans I've served with, next to, or other one, hey, we don't fight freedom, man. We fight for the right for people to choose. So that's why I was been so boisterous during the COVID. And I would never, 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 never go back and ever worry about it. I stood against, the Trump administration, flat out against Trump and flat out against Kate Brown, and held protest. I specifically made flags, locally. I knew I was trying to tell people, you guys are getting a front here with Mr. Badman Orange at the helm here. He's going to have his buddy put the bite in, they're going to skip, and this is going to play this. It's a record earnings for these Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer, the #1 single selling product. It outsold any paced real estate, always the #1 selling product, the Pfizer jab, and he created it. He was the king of the jab, and nobody wants to talk about it. So I do, and I have from the very beginning, and that's why I said this is a scam. I know autoimmunity. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get a medical strike, but this is not how this works. You've been played like a video game or a computer program. That's what a virus is. It's a program. and I want to talk about it, but it's not a living thing. And just like people think an alien's something that it's not, people think space is something that it's not, people think Lucifer is something that it's not, people think they live on a planet. There's no such thing as a planet. Does not exist. That's not a word. Not biblically, does not align, or scripturally, it's not there. So what in the hell is planet? You live on Planet of the Apes, wrapped in like a monkey or something, you know? But that's okay. I will stand against this corporation because I know I stood against the COVID. You're making no sense because it don't make any sense to you, Dante. You didn't stand against this corporation. You don't understand autoimmunity. You don't understand these things because you lack knowledge. And yep, there you go. Insinuate getting smashed like the public. You don't care about doing anything. You probably didn't do anything for your little town you live in, or even a big city. Probably didn't serve in any capacity. There's two kinds of people on this rock: service to self and service to others. Go ahead. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him. So thank you for your contribution to the chat, but we'll know you by your fruit. So no planets exist. There's no such thing as aliens. That's not in scripture. There's not an alien. Father never created one alien. A fallen angel doesn't mean out of the sky. Heaven's not above your head. God's a title. So what do you mean God? Letter O, A-E-O-U on your A-E-O-I-O-U, your barnyard transgender Jesus, the one with breast, birthed in the middle of the winter. Yep. Father didn't have breasts, remember? Father didn't have flesh. You learned that earlier in the lesson if you were here long enough. How long are we going? Hour and 30? Good. Been on there a couple of minutes. So I just, like I said, summertime. I have lots to do and I can't be slowed down by heat, and we're going to get summer. It's going to come here shortly. So I have lots to do, and it takes a lot of physical labor. So I'm going to sweat a lot and be in a lot of I got to get it done. I have lots to do. I'm just one man. So I have to focus on getting this ministry. I have faith like no tomorrow. Father will take care of this, and one day I'm going to be able to exit the United States and take this ministry and travel down south so that I can send food, because I only want to grow food anymore. I don't want to do anything else but grow food. But I don't care if Father is going to not let me do what I want. I have to do what he tells me to do. But yeah, as soon as I can get out of here and they'll release all these charges. Cool. Well, look at kill nothing but time. I don't want to tell you, man, what to do, but Canada is the USA. If you watch, I'm not trying to lump you in with Canadian Prepper like that you're him or anything, but he considers the US Canada pretty much. This whole NATO alliance and this whole, NAFTA, not NATO, excuse me, NAFTA, since back before, the North. I don't know how old you are, but you understand this, all part of their same, head and eagle. You got the queen. It's still part of the same corporation. So where do you go? There's so many other countries. If we could just have the discussion, where you can live, for, like you're in the 80s. Time for you to go, car carrier. You're an idiot. Go play with your little car, polish your little wheels, and scrub your little car and have fun, rubbing your little tires and playing your little hot rod or whatever you do. Go play Matchbox with somebody else. Maybe your Hot Wheels. I don't know. Transformers, more than meets the eye. All right, so I don't know where my son's at. So that's awesome. Killing nothing but time. I think that's a great way to do, but it's pretty hard to that's a great way, because you can be self-sufficient on the ocean, and I do it with you. I know I have a buddy who's, if I'm hoping I can get this guy, it's part of this thing that yep, and they're live a good lifestyle. no, seriously, I've looked into this and I've talked to, about this ability to skirt this, one supply chain and through just ability. You didn't have to do anything like a pirate or anything like that. I don't mean, but there are many things not very large. I'm not talking about any kind of drugs, like different kinds of foods and like they used to have the mirror, frankincense and things that are very highly sought after that you can move, and still gain some kind of living to keep yourself afloat, if you will, and live an amazing life and be a healthy life. It's not easy just to run, a vessel by yourself, especially this one, and then to control another, right? But if you had a team or some, a couple people, you know, uh, to do it properly, well, good, awesome. Did you see that guy who just recently took off from Oregon who went to Hawaii? He showed up on one of my feeds, and I've been seeing him. I didn't get to watch a bunch of his dates, but he was doing it by himself and his kitty cat. And he was traveling across. He sold all his stuff to kind of made this plan. Uh, you might look that up, and he's got his whole journey. I mean, it's a regular Joe. It's just some regular guy said, I'm selling all my stuff. I'm buying a sailboat. He bought a nice, a nice, well, not a yacht, nothing that big, but obviously a sailboat still in, oh gosh, what's that one kind? But anyways, there you go. Do it. Do it. Do it. And he did, I'll just tell you, and it's not rocket science. He did it with the Starlink. He did it with the Starlink is how he's able to keep his feed going. So you got to use this technology if you want to do it, but it's a great, how I look at it is you can skirt a lot of these coastlines, and with the sailboat, that's extremely efficient. These ones have, I can't remember the name. It starts with a C. It's that 30-foot to 38-foot. It's not quite a yacht, so it's not in the 50 or 60, but it's that. They've been making them forever, and they're just. I actually been showing. I showed Kevin some feeds of them of a really bad store catamaran. But there's a boat of a certain brand. Maybe that's. Thanks, Lady in Red. But if you've seen these storms, these boats will literally, because this, all that sail goes all the way down to that bottom. It's like a bobber, man. These things could get slapped around in a storm and right themselves. It's just brilliant design, just absolutely brilliant design, and they will take some pretty good licks from side to side, and they just right themselves up almost like that punching bag, when you were a kid, to say the not the ones at the gym, but the one that would bounce back that of the sand, and it mounts itself back. So yeah, it starts with a C. I don't know why it's not coming in. It's just yeah, nice, cool. That's so awesome, killing nothing but time, that you got a plan, man, and it's not the end of the world, and you'll be able to embrace, such a different lifestyle, challenging, what I'm saying, and the beautiful thing about doing something like that you've never done before, it's obviously going to be, but it's a lifestyle. You're something you're going to be able to participate in, like every day, being a farmer or something like that. It's a continual process, and but I do think it's something that anybody can do that puts their mindset. I don't think it's overbearing, and I think you can live a very meek lifestyle, and you could have access to some of the most interesting food. And obviously, if you're going to be around, and I haven't eaten seafood in forever, and I think the only, Mexico would be great. Anywhere but America, JC, anywhere but America. People, there's so many expats in Mexico that love it and live. I'm in my 50s, so I'm not going to live. You can only buy land from the Mexican government for 50 years. You can find yourself a spouse or something, marry, and you can keep it within the family or something. But as a patriot, an expat, or whatever they call you outside the U.S., you can go buy land there, and you have to turn it back over to the Mexican government. And the thing I like, JC, about that It's kind of like what it's what nothing but killing time is doing. They're becoming very self-sufficient away from the government, and that's what I encourage in this new cycle and new system. And I've always encouraged that on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Is to get out of the system, keep one foot in the system, because you would still have to move within the system, but when time comes, be your own self-sufficient system. So I like the idea of being in a boat. There's always food across the. You can go on the shoreline. There's crustacea. I don't eat that now, but what I like about Mexico too, which has been very nice, because you have all the coastline, which is actually the beaches down there, which is loaded with seafood, which is going to be a constant supply of food. You're going to have to think in the future, and if you've not been in this channel before, everything I do is preparedness. I've been living preparedness for, I'd rather be 50 years too early than 50 seconds too late. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but they both provide a very sufficient, what I'm talking about. In Mexico, there's a lot of people who go to Mexico and they'll do something like me. I'm a farmer. I grew up in the concrete jungle. That's fine. I don't have any issue. I've been to every city in the U.S. I've traveled in and out of the U.S. So I've been blessed with the abundance to even hit every state in America. I've been in every major city, and so I've been able to, with the commercial license and a veteran and stuff, I've been just feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes. Father's given me such a blessed abundance, and knowing Shiloh and knowing Christ and having that part of my whole walk through this has provided me the ability to meet some just very interesting, unique people that I've learned so much more. People think, oh, how do you know all this? Well, a lot of what I learned from other people. I know I don't shut up here on here, but I like to listen to other people and watch what they do, and that's how I actually love to create things from a lot of. Hey, I'm going to take everybody's idea. Now, I told you, the best thing you can possibly do is go watch a blog or whatever, or something, program, and then go through the comment section. You know, um, it's a gem. You're going to see things that were not in the original, you know, whatever you're trying to discover there, whatever you're trying to glean. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, there we go, killing time. So that's what I'm saying. So now listen, Jay, in Mexico, what I really appealing to me in Mexico, what I look, there's a lot of people don't realize what's going on in Mexico. I'm going to tell you right now, when the United States says don't go to Mexico, that's when you go to Mexico. Oh, it's not safe to go to Mexico. You go down there and all the tourist places are empty. They do. A lot of people listen. They're like sheep. And it's like going to Disneyland, as I've said. If you've ever been to an amusement park or something like that, and you got it all to yourself. Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, what's up, amigo? What's up, amiga? They're gonna treat you. You're gonna get the whole amusement park to yourself, and they're gonna treat you just as good, and they'll give you good service either way. If they're not gonna be able to give you that, you know. So, uh, so if you go there though, and you don't try to blow up and get too big. I've seen that with Mexico, because I know people got plenty of money, went down there and try to, and it's not that there's not money down there, but the law is different down there. It's not America. General public's not armed. They took the weapons from the people. The only people who have the weapons down there is the government and the gangs. Pretty much. That's what's going to happen. Like Australia, look what they did during the COVID. That's what happened to America. If they did it here, and they will do it under the Trump administration, he'll be the one to disarm the American public under some fake national emergency, and they'll do it. I already know they will. I'm not even worried about it. I don't need a weapon to feel secure. Okay. Um, so I let Father fight all my battles for me. So now that's what kept me standing after taking a grenade to the face and eating 5 tear gas canisters, and I'm still here to talk to you right now. So I wouldn't be here if Father didn't wasn't done with me. He still kept me upright. So either way, what I like about going to Mexico, okay, is if you like to farm and you like to be efficient, and there's plenty of things you can farm down there because it's very conducive. The weather's conducive. I only want to farm. I only want to farm, and I only want to create self-sufficiency. What I like about being outside the U.S. is you're in a different grow zone. the further you go south, obviously, the better your grow zone gets, if you will. And it's the easier, more, conducive the climate is to grow food. And then you're going to get food that you can't get within the US that's shipped up here. And a lot of it's specialty things that don't come up out of the US are down there and people eat on a regular basis. So for me, remember, I already tried to do that through the ministry here and not, through purchasing this property, but it didn't, it's still going to serve the purpose. It will. That's why I went ahead and paid the ministry off instead of getting myself an attorney, because it will serve the purpose. That way, if I die, so what? The ministry will still be able to serve as a ministry, and it'll provide for people who need in time. It's going to come together. I know it will. I know it will. Well, there we go. So I would say that's excellent. I love that. I love that you're thinking outside the box, so to speak. And I hope you're paying attention to these cycles, the super cycles and the weather patterns, and obviously your upper jet streams and the La Nina and the El Nino. And this might be a good channel to follow. I can give you some other recommendations. I'm not some kind of, I got information from like 400,000 years. I pay attention to all the paleoclimatology records. I can put it down here that these cycles are known cycles. You're in the 12th 1,000-year sixth extinction event right now. Most people don't know that. It's already happening. We're already in an extinction event. We're already almost 5 years into this. Hey, give yourself a pat on the back. You already made it this far. You didn't think you heard extinction. You thought we were all going to die, huh? That's not what extinction is. So, but okay. So JC, back to Mexico. What I like about Mexico, you're not going to try to go down there and blow yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Outstanding. All glory to Father. You're going to have the ability to, a lot of things are disappearing. They use magnetics. Think about, guys, the magnetics on this rock are changing. I cover this in detail on this channel. That's why they put all my work on the US debt calculator. I didn't get this ministry's work and stuff I've been doing for more than a decade on this channel. Okay, through this platform here on YouTube. I've had, half a dozen channels, and channels I don't, it's locked up. I can't get into or add or take away from them. They stripped them down. They're still up though. You can go look at some of my work that was done more than a decade ago. Things that I've been telling you of that are going to eventually happen. I don't get them all. I don't pick times and date dates. I say, hey, these things are going to come to pass sooner or later. They set these things up and they just wait for their perfect timing. Sometimes it goes by a date. Sometimes it goes by a ritual. Sometimes it goes by a lot of different things. But we still got to figure out how to live a normal lifestyle within this craziness, brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? So all these things are being affected by the magnetics, okay? And obviously the largest driver, I don't want to get a whatever, I don't care about that. I just don't want to get anything now. We'll say for theory for now, is the sun drives our climate. We grew up in school saying that our La Nina, El Nino cycles are created from the hydrocycle from our oceans, which creates more CO2 than, all of us farting and leaving our cars running. And I just said that, but it is what it is, or whatever, than all the trees and stuff. There's way more than there is, land on this, mass of effect that we live on here. We don't do spinning ball camping here. So I'm not going to fall for the nonsense. There's called polarity and magnetics, and that is a mass effect on our upper atmospheres. If you know anything about electricity, then you know about our ionosphere, and you know about the mesosphere. You know about the heat. The sun has its own protection. Like we have a magnetosphere. Magnetic polarity. We don't have poles. There's no such thing as a pole. See, these things affect our rock, and they have every effect on the upper jet streams, which are affected by our upper atmospheres. There's many layers of our atmosphere, but people don't have the time to study them. So good that you're aware of that, because it is changing. And it is cyclical. So you should be able to take a pattern and we have electromagnetic fields. Many of them work in different layers. Like I said, we have, take a look at what happened in February 15th, of 2022. They had deemed 3 days prior extinct, killed off Honga Tonga, and it shot off, 140 gigarams into our upper atmosphere. So that is something that nobody wants to talk about. That's still up there. It's been how many years? 2022. It's just starting to ring out into our, into our jet streams. That's why we've been seeing such a massive, water events on this rock. And I know they know that. I told you they're going to do air and water rituals, air and water rituals, air and water rituals, air and water rituals, air and what? Why aren't they doing the drones anymore? These things are going to happen again and again. It's just whether you realize what they're doing is because they're shadowing, they're gaslighting you. This age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is the age where the veil. I am revelation. Revelation means to reveal. I was arrested under the name Revelation. What's your name? Pastor Apocalypse. That's not your name. That's a charge. I'm not a corporation, I can tell you that. But apocalypse is to pull off the veil, to remove the cover, to reveal, right? To reveal reality. That's what I help you to celestially see and have celestial eyes and biblical and spiritual eyes in this channel. I don't do that. The word itself, the ministry does it. Father makes me do it. So take it up with him. Don't shoot the angelos. Don't shoot the angel. Don't shoot the messenger. Remember, same word. Calm down. That guy said he was an angel, honey. Grab a beer, somebody said. Go on, get out of here. But anyways, listen, what I want you to understand is that this, is something that they do this. It should be very easy for you to see. If you had the time to take, you'd realize they put these things in your schooling since you were a child and get you to go with the flow. And so that you'll, like a school of fish, you put your currency in the bank and you do that. Money is gold and silver. Currency is not money. What did J.D. Rockefeller say? I think maybe it was, or there's gold and silver, and everything else is credit. So you've been taken away from a gold standard, and you're okay with that. You just accept that. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable in my eyes, and we should be standing up against this corporation. Why are they printing all our money and sending it to Israel and Iran? 300 and how much million, almost $400 billion, not million, billion was sent to Ukraine. Oh, Mr. 48 hours, Mr. Chump is going to have us out of, Ukraine in 48 hours. And they just sent another $1 billion over there. And I can't even get counsel in this country where I serve this country. And I have an honorable discharge because I stand up for the Constitution, right? They're sending this money to other people. And I can't even get a legitimate attorney. I can't even get an attorney to do anything, right? They haven't provided any adequate counsel. That is my right, but they don't care. So this time, this age that we live in, brothers and sisters, should be quite obvious. This happens to me because of what it is that Father makes me do. But I hope in your own little world that you're standing up to this perversion. It's sick. Our money is not, they just clip the penny. That's a war thing. It's summer. It's getting hot out here. Days get hot. I have so many things. I can't stay on here all day. I haven't spent some time, so I'll spend a little bit more time on here. But have aspirations. Argument, aspect, reality, paraphrase. Nice. Thank you for making a mention from Casey, man. Casey is the best decoder on YouTube. You guys have not seen Enter the Stars, Casey, you've got to watch. He does a live stream every morning. Sometimes he does a re-upload on Saturday. He has more content that you can do for the rest of your life. You couldn't go through Casey's channel. You can't go through Casey's channel. There's too much. But if you want to go through Casey's channel and look, his Trump reveals all his Trump, does everything by the number. Casey's not biased. He's spiritual, okay? Casey is spiritual. He gave up his life. He had a whole life. I don't want to give Casey's thing. Go back and watch it. But to give a brief, Casey had a job and a regular job and, a life and a wife and kids. And now he has a beautiful, a helpmate. And they have a beautiful thing in his ministry is, I call it his ministry. He don't call it. He calls it Enter the Stars. But Casey's ministry is powerful work. He's going to show you that this has been put in front of you over and over and over again in nearly every TV program. Every cartoon, it's put right in front of your face, but you just don't have the eyes to see, and that's fine. The word apocalypse means to lift off or remove the scales. The scales. He said, I will remove thy scales from thy eyes. And he does not remove that blocker, that deaf ear. Most people, they have a very deaf ear. They don't want to hear it, or they don't have the time. It just falls on deaf ears. So this is something that Casey has obviously been very blessed to have uncovered, something that no other channel has uncovered. And it is the channel Enter the Stars. And Casey is an amazing blogger, and he is an amazing decoder. He is the best decoder on YouTube. So if you like spiritual decode, and he's a spiritual channel, but it's a lot about what you're seeing. I don't have the time to watch movies. I couldn't sit there and take the time to do what he does and pull out that information. And he is just an absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So JC, I want to answer this question for you. Get back to that too. Listen, Mexico is amazing, because what I found in Mexico, JC, is that, yeah, go see Enter the Stars, guys. Go see, he does an amazing channel. JC, in Mexico, there are these small communities where, listen up here too, nodding, kill nothing, because you'd be able to get a similar thing going here. In a sense, you'd be able to find these, or more of these locations where you find these very neat, isolated places where you can get access to pure organic food. I mean, really organic food, truly organic, organic food, and food you could never get within the US. But they grow these small communities where, like, only less than 5 or maybe 10% of the product is brought in. It's like electronics and the things, and it's the gadgets and the widgets and the things like this, but everything else is right there made in that community. They're totally almost a nearly self-sufficient community. Everything that's grown and eaten in that is in Mexico. These are amazing villages. These villages are almost like it's not. I don't want to go into China where they have this outlining. You know what I'm saying? All local, yes. Yes, exactly. So yes, and it's so hard, because careful with your seeds too. Make sure I'll just give out True Leaf Market. Love the company, and Oregon. Oregon Territorial Seed Company. I think are the two superior seed companies right there that I would actually recommend, and grown with both their seeds, and have had just a sensational results too, because they grow zone these seeds to harden them for the zone you are in. It's not like you could just buy a seed somewhere. Does it fit the seed zone? Has it been growing over and over year after year, hardening these areas? Because just like somebody came in and said earlier, man, the weather's changing. These seed, if you follow the channel Adapt 2030 or Civilization Cycle, Ransom Godwin at 420 television, at partly where it's always partly cloudy. Ransom, he's such a great. Thank you, Father, for sending us Ransom Godwin over there. 420 is the birth date of Hitler, so we're not going to do the whole silly thing with that. But between David Devine and Adapt 2030, they are going to be able to give you guys information that nobody else is giving you. So yes, so these villages are all based. These guys, like, I'm looking at this farm, okay, and I'm not giving up the goat. Like I'm not already telling what's going on in my life. I've been looking at a farm in Ecuador is what I call it, Ecuador, where I can go there, and the land is extremely conducive. I've been looking at this farm for years, and that's why I'm kind of a little frustrated with Father. He just won't let me go and do this. It is what it is. He's just going to do whatever he wants in my life. I just got to keep doing this. It's probably going to be until I die. I probably will never see it, but at least in my brain, I'll be making plans, and I'll do whatever I can to not, overdo it. I have other things in my life, like I said, too, that I have to take care of. So, but this is part of the ministry, and I want this for the ministry because I want to send food on this property. There's 21 plus different kinds of fruit growing organically. The only fertilizer on this farm that I am looking at has been organically fertilized on the farm itself. There's been no outside fertilizers or chemicals brought in. Outside sources. This is a 100% organic farm. And I am just, I really wish Father would unchain me. I don't want any money. I could, brothers, sisters, and this is what's crazy. I said this to somebody the other day. I'm on this guy. Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. Nothing. That's what I'm saying. Yes, and you can. See, I will assimilate. I will assimilate. Yes, I did. So I will assimilate. I want to blend in with the area. I don't want to grow too much there. I want to grow what's there, and I want to ship this stuff back to you guys up here in the US that you guys can't get. That's how I can tithe to the ministry. I can tithe with food. Tithing used to be food, not money. I ain't no grifter, right? Thanks for Lady in Red dropping the cash app. You want to support the ministry, it's there. No, I know. Everybody's used to the beard. I know. Shave off a few years. I said the voice is still there. So that's what I want to do, man. I want to tithe to people here in the US. I can't get food up here like that, guys. I could get these freeze dryers running. This food already has power on it. I don't do power, guys. I live off the grid. I make my own power. Remember, I'm off grid. I do my own thing, But I want to hook up a freeze dryer. So when I get abundance, because I want to teach people that abundance is possible. You grow one extra tomato plant, brothers, sisters, and you already grew a couple, and you have one too many, and you already canned and made tomato ketchup, and you made spaghetti sauce, and you made tomato paste, and you made stewed tomatoes, canned tomatoes, sliced. You start running out. You're like, honey, we still got tomatoes out there that are getting ripe on the vine, and they're still green ones. Abundance is possible. I want to teach you, and I like that, brother. There's other brothers that are in God's way, like David Devine, that has been saying for many years, not just survive, but thrive. These supply chain shortages are created. They created just like all this stuff we just did with China. Guys, think about this. This is so hard to watch China. Watch this channel called China Observer. China Observer, guys. China Observer. They're not showing you this in the US. These people have been dependent on the US for decades. We shipped all our stuff over there for cheap labor and cheap crap at the Walmart, right? I'm a vet. They went all US stuff. And then 2-3 years later, wham, all Chinese crap. Chinese produce superior product. If you'll pay them, absolutely some of the most superior product on the planet, but that's not what we did. We wanted cheap Chinese TVs and all that and just kept shipping all our jobs out overseas. Labor out to Mexico. And now look at this current chump in office. He's sitting there going, you either play or you pay. We did this to these people. And now these people have just completely lost their job. You have no idea what's happening in China right now. Americans have no idea what's happening in China. America can't do anything. They can't think of outside the box, out of America walls. When we outside America, obviously, if you're not from this country, you would know this. But outside of the walls of America, we're the bad guy. Only in America is America the good guy. Oh, I know people come here because they came here to game the system. Whether you like it or not, it's been the big melting pot because people send their money out of here. But we sent our labor out of here. We did this. And so I think this nation, what we're doing right now is an apostasy. And I can't rebuke Father, but I just feel like he rebukes me, and I don't want to rebuke him. I can't. He's perfect. He can't make a mistake. Just my timing is so off. This property I've been looking at for years. I could produce food for this ministry. I won't bother anybody down there. I just want to blend in. Guys, I was showing this to Kevin the other day because Kevin, like I said, we're looking through this. I looked up all the menus because I don't eat fast food. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat fast food. I just don't. It's not my thing. I did growing up, but I don't live near fast food, and then you won't eat fast food. That's another great way to not eat fast food. Don't live anywhere where there's any fast food. So anyways, it's convenience, guys. Some people, remember, hit the KFC bucket before you go home. I understand. I feel so bad for people caught up in this rat race and not even ever given the opportunity. And I know that Father will someday provide, even if I pass and somehow, they come out here and shoot me again or something, whatever. I've really pissed off the government quite a bit, enough to mess with my son. I think they have my son, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I can't say. It just makes no sense. I don't want to get into that right now. But down there, See, I could have bought all that already. Oh, okay. Anyways, okay. Stay focused here. So, I just want to go down there and I want to add to the ministry because this property already has a 2-bedroom house, on it, bungalow. It's just a bungalow. It's not like the house you'd think, but they did a lot of work to it and it's come up in price a lot, but it still has a massive potential with 2 springs on it to provide down south. Uh, um, but I'm telling you guys, listen, you go down there and this fast food on their menus, I just looked that up and all these other ones popped up. You know what I'm saying? Uh, their food is like living in the freaking 80s, guys. They got like $2 and $3 and $4 meals down there and $5 meals. It's not like living in the US. If you never traveled outside, that's just one place. Look that up. Actually, look up. There's many people who do blogs on this, like the 10 most affordable places for expats to live outside the US. You'd be blown away. Healthcare, like in Ecuador, it's $20 to go get your teeth cleaned, get dental work, and they're not going to stick you with all this nasty, let's not talk about that. But you hurt yourself, you break it, it's $50 to go to the doctor. Ladies have a different anatomy than us. They need to go have some regular maintenance, that they have to have done. Wouldn't you like to be able to not have to pay thousands of dollars a year, a month, to $50 to take for your wife to get a complete screening, full, you're getting good health care, top to bottom, probably less than that. Probably a regular, I don't mean to take away from what happens to you ladies, but, probably 20, $30 for ladies, go have a full pap smear and do her thing and, not going to break the bank. You hurt yourself. You can afford to get in the health. That's why I want to go get on their healthcare system and pay for their system and pay for the healthcare. It's good healthcare. That's just one aspect of things, that people think these countries are, because they live this American attitude. They think this is the place where it all happens. There are places outside this country, like take, for example, Japan. Look at that culture. You wouldn't even understand the culture. You wouldn't even understand what those people do. So, there's yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just the insurance and I don't mean to go there, but the Obamacare and you guys, that is crazy. There are many nations outside the US that you can go move to their country, like Ecuador, buy land. There are many people living there. It's not a lot, but there is a good number, hundreds of millions of people who live in like Ecuador. It's a nation I've been looking at for a long time. I'm only going to farm food. That's it. I don't care to go to Ecuador to get involved. It is a constitutional republic. That's what it chose. That's why I looked at it. I thought I lived in a constitutional republic. I took an oath to the Constitution, right? So I don't end my tour of service. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue to serve the people of this country, whether they like me or not. Whether the government hates me and I'm on one of the biggest, enemy hit, list of the country. I know what it is that I've done. I have no regrets. None. This is what Christ did. He stood against the perverted law. So you're not Christ-like unless you're standing in your own little world too, wherever you're at on this rock, because all these governments are not taking care of, their oath to office of a public servant or community serving in a community servant capacity. They're not. They're failures. All they care about is their public. It is. See what I'm saying? Thank you, because that's important to me. I thought I served the Constitutional Republic. So why do you want to leave and go there? So I'm actually, like I said, no, Chris was in it. He was a lion from the tribe of Judah. Don't try to come in here, Crouser, and he was from the tribe of Judah. I know all the tribes. I'm not gonna remember. These Hebrew Israelites claim they're from the tribe of Ham, that they're from the tribe of Judah. So we won't do that in here. I don't use anything. The art of pain, I don't have that. I just use my phone. So I have a 4G phone because 5G is a weapon. So patent by the United States, 5G whiz. Should have said that, but it's not what you think. I've covered on this channel with. Thanks for coming in, Lady in Red. Appreciate it. Good to see you again. Been a country minute. You know what it is that I'm doing here. I'm trying to get this other ministry paid off. I need 15,000 cash right now. So I'm trying to come up with that. Remember, I just paid $47,000 for these 20 acres. So it's And then I still want to buy land down there. So I'm looking at that. I should have bought that land when it was 18,000. Now it's 40,000. So yes, they do. Absolutely. They are to pay, and they put them in there. They saw them. I've seen it. They peel that stuff back and it's in there. It's in everything. So if you understand what it is, I've covered it. It's 60 gigahertz at 60 millimeter wave. It has zero to do with the internet. That's what it is. White blood cells, oxygen saturation, lack of oxygen saturation in the red blood cell, hemoglobin. Here we go around in circles, millimeter waves. So that's what it is. Whether people want it, it was patented by the United States Navy, if you want to look it up, long before it was used in the desert, used time immemorial. This is all part of this millimeter technology they had in the 1800s. Tesla was messing with this. John Trump was messing with this. Why do you think Trump's family has it? We could build megalithic structures right now. You want to know why we can't? Donald Trump. You want to know why every person that was dead because of oil? Donald Trump. There you go. Now I'm on the homegrown terrorist list. Well, fuck you, then CIA or FBI or all you alphabet soup agencies. The man's an absolute tyrant. How many hundreds of millions of dollars did he funnel into Hillary for prison? But I'll probably be the one going into prison, right? So no regrets. They threw Christ in jail. Does anybody hang you from a tree? He said, follow after me. So you might with the times. You're not going to sit there and be Christ-like if you're not, you know, the trailer. That was a cabin. So you can see all the cabin work. That's what I'm getting ready to do out here too. So we're turning all these and moving out all these cabins, and I am. And you can see a little bit, like I said, what we got going in here. It's all repurposed material. I like the bleach wood look, so I only like to have it unless it's been bleached. So waterless toilet, the whole thing here. I'm off the grid, do my thing. I don't live like you guys. That's cool. You guys live how you live. I live like I live. So it's my puppies on the ground here, you know. So, but here soon, like I said, I'm going to. I got to come up with this extra cash, and maybe I should have held off paying the ministry and bought this other portion of the ministry, because this other ministry is in town, and okay, but it doesn't brown or what is it, how much melanin does it? How much does it matter whether their skin were melanated or not? They're fulfilled all flesh, one white, one black, one brown, one red, one yellow. I'm a military veteran, okay? You're offending the hell out of me. God created one race, one human race. You act like a freaking racist. You know that? You sound like a racist. Father didn't melanate our skin. You think when somebody's trying to pop my grapes, split my wig, shoot my head off, and a man's skin is melanated less or more, I give a crap? I don't see color. I was born in the concrete jungle. Stop being a racist, okay? You're a racist. I'm calling you out. You're a racist. One race, the human race. Yes, I don't care how much melanin somebody's trying to got my six. I don't care. I don't see color. You're a racist. Get out of here. We're all one master race, Jew and Gentile under this covenant, not one above another. So one race, the human race, we all got to be in there together as a hominoid species that's invasive, trying to whack y'all. It's called the governments. You don't have to believe me. I work for it, so I know. So moving on. Corporation called America with 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. You can't figure it out because you can't do simple math, can you? How about that for some facts? Take that in your apple pipe, stick that in your apple pipe and smoke that. Maybe you're on too much of your dispensary pot that you guys are stoned out of your minds or something. I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm not saying it's not what goes into man that defiles. I use cannabis as medicine, but I don't overdo it. I use it as needed, you know? So, but anyways, I'm not condoning people's behavior as far as, you know, whatever. You do what you just don't do these things in public. Don't be driving around and operating any machinery. You probably be just fine. So, but that's not the subject here. My subject that we're going on is the fact that, you know, this corporation that we have is just in an apostasy We have been taxing every nation for 50 plus years, 50 plus years, forcing everybody to pay for oil with the US dollar. And we never needed to fight one oil war because in the 1800s, they had a car that could go over 1,000 miles on a single charge. Mr. Stinky Muskrat, Mr. Chump's buddy, Joe is Billary, is Biden, is JFK, is, at least George Washington went, off to war. These people hide in their ivory towers and use drones, men like me, thugs, to do the work of the banksters. Congress, is the one who makes the laws, not presidents by executive orders. Remember, it said if it was not adjudicated through the House, Congress, and the Senate, judicial process, legislative and executive branches of our government, it's repugnant. So you guys follow laws that are not even lawful or legal. A mandate, I don't go on dates with men. That's not a law. Nope, not going to do it. Might be putting myself in the market since I shaved. But I don't think there's a woman out there for me. I don't think there's a woman can handle me. Not one woman on this rock could even step to this man. I don't think so. Whatever. I'm not above you. I'm just saying I'm all man. So anyways, moving on. So it is what it is. That's why I don't. 22 is an absolute killer. So be careful with the 22. It's not a toy. It's all planned. It's all planned. You should know that by, what I'm saying? Sultana. I'm not sure. Sometimes YouTube deletes a lot of comments in this thing because we hit on some subjects they don't want us to talk about. So, but Mr. Badman Orange, remember his uncle, John Trump, had that technology, the millimeter wave technology, where they're going to put you in your Walmart camps, and you're not going to believe it until it happens. They're not going to be walls that you can see. When Trump said he was going to build a wall, he said Mexico is going to build a wall to keep you stinky gringo, pesky Americanos out of Mexico because they don't want you down there stealing the silver on this rock. They need silver. Silver is the bank killer. Silver is the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex, not oil. We don't need oil. We never needed oil. No, we have megalithic structure. Remember Tesla, there's a museum overseas, if anybody's not in America, that from the 1800s, those perpetual, magnetics, gravitics, gravity. What a stupid name, gravity. Rebuke the name gravity. But anyways, those machines are still running since the 1800s. There are things we could build. We never needed to fight one single oil war. I rebuke whatever service I serve. That's disgusting, filthy to think one child or woman, and how many million during Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield. That's Kuwait. Remember Operation Iraqi Freedom, all that. Millions of women and children lost their life. Not battle-dressed uniformed men of fighting age, 18 to 30, the country's finest of finest. Would you send your daughter or your son off for one of these banksters wars in some other country? Like Ukraine right now, they're running low on operators over there. Oh, wait, they're using drones because the average fighting age over there is 43 years old. Because they've killed all the women or men and women. They throw their women in the meat grinder over there. They'll do it in America. They already passed the law. I might be one of the other few channels on this platform, even did it on TikTok, rebuking when they were talking about it in the military times, about bringing up this draft and drafting women. It's too late. They already passed it. You fell asleep at the wheel. $500 million to tuck and strap kids in America. Did you get a vote on that? The rest went to Ukraine. They're sending money to Iraq. Yeah, we're still and Iran and Israel. This is ridiculous. And people die in the streets of this country. They got 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. You're so jazzed up about America, huh? Ridiculous. We got a border problem? Well, it's maybe because we got all our troops overseas, huh? We never had a problem. Now we got them all at the border. That kind of makes our vocal states. I'm a veteran trying to this ain't a game of checkers, okay? This is 5D chess you're playing here. This is life, whether you like it or not. Welcome to the new age. Welcome to Revelation. I am Pastor Apocalypse, Pastor Revelation. This is the word aletheia, truth. I'll pull off these lies, lift the veil, pull the cover off, and show you what's hiding under there. Been hiding all along. Don't need like no Christmas tree all stood up with nails and drag it home and stand it erect and deck the halls with boughs, your balls and bales of gold and silver. And yeah, like a palm tree. It's there standing up all along. It's been covered by deception for 2,600 years in the age of Pisces. Welcome to the new age. We're there already. We're already in Revelation. I am. He sent me to reveal to you these truths. Hallelujah. So, what about guys with face tattoos and man butts? Whatever. It's not what goes in a man that defiles a man. How about a hand tattoo? I never thought I'd tattoo my hands. He said that the most high, you don't dwell in temples made by hands. Correct? Christ in me. Christ in you. The bride, the one that'll give the wings of an angel. So, hallelujah. I just do these things to share the message, brothers and sisters. It's part of why you made me a magi. I don't have these markers for no reason. So he said, be in the world, but be not of it, because soon it's going to be consumed with fire. You see the world there? This actually isn't a world, but it pulls it off. Under the dome, right? Under the dome. Hashtag ice wall. Oh, don't say anything about that. So, anyway, look, here's Chronos. You have enough time? Time, that's the time marker. You tell me time is time. That is time. So don't tell me you know what time is. That is time. What do you mean time like ahead of time, like a sign of what is to come, like in the stars and in the sun and in the moon? You know, oh, you like a stop sign. You want it now like J.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I want it now. Yeah. You can have your treasure on this rock, brothers and sisters. Time is an illusion. That's right. Time is not what you've been told. So it's not 2025. Wake up. You're a lunatic. Yep. What did Bob say? I'm too transcendental for half of you heathens. So, anyways, that's just a Bob lyric. So, anyways, it's part of what I do. I'm the only man on this rock to have the Revelation 12 sign to show Father that I'm paid to. There'll be a sign, great sign in the stars. The woman clothed with the sun, the moon at her feet. There's the moon at her feet, clothed with the sun. And she'll have a crown of 12 stars upon her head. He spoke of this, brothers and sisters. He gave a witness. He declared it as a sign in the stars of the second coming of Christ, and then he declared it as to John as a messenger. Remember, as sounding the horn as a magi. Remember, there were many men, or not three wise men, they were magi. Remember the men that were pointing at the celestial gas giant, looking for the star that would birth the king, not the one that has the upside down crown, right? Remember, there are two kings, two crowns. So, is it? No, it's not. It's 5785 by the Hebrew calendar, and that has flaws in it too, but it's not 2025. That is the Gregorian calendar where they've combined it. Their lunar calendar, their worship of their dark gods, like Tammuz, the son of Satan, the one that Trump has his house decorated with, Mithra, the sun god. You thought I'd lost track? No, I'm trying to show you why they do these rituals. Mr. Badman Orange, why do you think he lives in a 58-story tower? Tesla Tech Tower? Is it Tesla technology, or is it dropping 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes? Because that's it. Because you don't know anything about slavery, JMR. You're an idiot. Okay? That's what it talks about, the art of pain. So don't panic there, but that gives you the idea of where the Hebrew calendar is at. So, well, study slavery. People wanted to be sold into slavery. They could provide a much better lifestyle for themselves. You obviously know how. Remember, the Aztecs fed their nations amaranth, microgreens. You know, you ever heard of these things? Microgreens with a high. People know nothing of. They think history is what you read in a book, right? History. A book is the word Bible. I rebuke the word Bible. Book. This was written on tablets of stone. History is one side. The victor gets the shut the. Remember, you have the right to remain silent. He gets left out, loser. Shh, you don't get the right history. Slow down, Turbo. Look at you, quick to jump. You're J.G. Wentworth. trying to just teach you a little bit. You jump right on it. Like, I don't like Trump. Oh, you must like Biden. I don't like Biden. Oh, you must like Trump. Slow down, Turbo. You already got your dripping. Slow down. Just explaining to you, you know, every race, ethnicity, you know, there's only one race, okay? So if you're racist, you got to go. If all things God does is good, that means allowing slavery is good. Oh, it's here. Okay. 877 cash now, baby. Yes. Thanks, Spooky, for doing that. Gives me the JJ. It's the microwave generation, right? It's the 90-second burrito generation. It take 3 days. Think about that, Spooky. 3 days to make a burrito. You know, the flour pounded out and all this cheese, all the, you know, 3 days. Then that 90 seconds. Ding. I hope you threw away your microwave. Notice they can't give a direct start. Notice you want it all now, and I'm just explaining that you just want it all handed to you on a silver platter, and you ain't even willing. I'm just giving you a scratch of a little bit of what we would call historical record, where the victor gets the spoils. So loser, you get left out of here if you don't shut up and interrupt me again. You don't even have any formal education, I can obviously tell, or you got schooled and went to public school. I can tell. I did it too, but I got been through college. Doesn't make my college or, you know, grade point average in college any better or above you. But obviously you can't concentrate like orange juice. You couldn't even, you should write stuff down is what you should do. Might help you a little bit. You know, step-by-step instruction is what we do. People, hey, come on, man, I'm getting bored over here. Step-by-step, you know, I'm not saying you're the second grade level, but everybody learns at a different, you know, level. So are you writing anything down? Because you sure are. Keep it up. Remember, it's JG Wentworth. It's my money and I want it. Now I'm having a conversation with 2 or 3. I actually stopped to talk to you, and now you want all the attention. You're like a child. You ever seen that thing, 2 girls in a cup? Leave your at the door, all right, would you? Yeah, leave it at the door. Come in here as a dry sponge. If you ask a question, why are you asking? Why don't you shut up and learn? Yeah, you don't go in and learn anything from somebody thinking you know it all. I'm not saying I know it all, but apparently if you want to learn, you don't want to go in and try to teach the professor. Hello, he says, call no man pastor, right? Reverend, right? Don't want a symbol in front of their name, right? Doctor, MD. Call no man teacher, prophet, false teacher, okay? Slow down, Turbo. Microwave generation, JG Wentworth, call 877 cash now. Call now, call now, call now. We're not doing lives. Maybe come in here and join me. Maybe you can concentrate like OJ. So, are you writing anything down? Microwave generation, 3 days to make a burrito, 90 seconds. Ding, I hope you threw your microwave on. You want me to repeat everything I just said? We won't do that. So you can go somewhere else. If you don't understand slavery, Victor gets the spoils. Let's go back, right? This guy gets left out. Shut up. Be quiet, because you don't get to say anything, because you get left out of history. There's a left side of history gets left out, the right side. So you think you learn history in a book? You better study cultures, customs. Ethnicity is not race, right? You're just lost in space. So if you can't concentrate and understand slavery and just study slavery without a bias, then you're an idiot, is what you are. You're just unskilled. You're a simple, lame man. Very uneducated and not trained. So that's not my fault. You're an idiot. So you can leave if you don't want it and you can't concentrate. Like the guy with the glove or the guy who drove down the highway, you know, I went to go get his stuff back. He said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. Write that down. Might learn a lesson from that. So anyways, slavery. Let's talk about that and we'll finish talking about what we were talking about before. Are you taking any notes? What's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm not perfect, but I'm here doing what Father makes me do. So if you don't like it, don't shoot the angel or study what that word means. And then you might not get mad. Angels don't fall from the sky. When he said meet him in the sky, that's not above your head. Heaven's not above your head. Earth's not below your feet. There's no such thing as free will. There's no such thing as luck. You need some aletheia is what you need. That's the word truth. Bis is what you lack. That's the word busos or bathos. He says, my people shall perish for lack of bathos. I'll throw them in the place of the no bis, abyss. My people shall perish for lack of bis. Bathos, busos, and bis are the word knowledge. I can't help if you only have just a fraction of historical record, because you're only getting a portion of it. Are you starting to learn anything yet? You're writing it down. Remember, 2 girls in a cup. You can leave it at the door if you'd like. Come in as a wet sponge, and then you might learn something. Go back and pick up your crap later and wring it out and just run it through your own discernment filter. You're supposed to be able to discern all things. Remember, the second sign, not the first is of the days of Noah, but be sure no man deceive you. No mammon. You can't serve 2 masters. Jezebel, you're a Jezebel. 99% of your teachings are Jezebel teachings. Idolatry, pornea, the Greek word. You make up your own version of whatever it's, on stone, tablets, pounded out, scrolls, history in a book. Yeah, right. He gets to write the history. So what happened to the loser? He gets left out. What can you ever hear and study his side? Can you distinguish the forest from the trees? Most people can't. They get a little too close or too far away, correct? Little bias, if you will, correct? Reality is right side of history, there's a left side of history, then there's reality. I tell you, it normally falls between the lines. You have to be able to read between the lines if you want to know history. So, does that make sense? So, don't come in here and talk about slavery like you know anything about it, because I won't give you all your answers right now, because you're the J.G. Wentworth microwave generation. Call 8877-CASH now. Okay? You just can't keep up. You're just slow. You're like an old wheel at the Walmart or something, dragging ass. Well, like a donkey. You're stubborn. You just have an unwillingness to learn. Like a mule. I can't learn you, right? Let me learn them. I'm not going to learn you anything. You glean what you like, but don't come in here and interrupt. If you don't say that I'm not giving you the answer you want, and so you ain't got what you want, this ain't, J.G. Wentworth. Maybe we'll get you out of here by now. You saw the So, okay, but either way, slavery at one point in time, brothers and sisters, is every what we would call melanated, less melanated, black, brown, white. There's no blue. There's no avatars or no Smurfs. Okay, don't go there. Don't go with that spinning blue ball in here either. We don't do the ball camp. Hashtag ice wall. And don't talk about me on planes flying over in Planet. You said there was no planets. Well, why do planes fly over in ET? Planet. Don't talk about shapes in here. I told you that. Leave your at the door. Whether it's square or round, whoever put in your square peg and who's round hole, keep that to yourself. Remember, brute beast, So brutish in nature. Won't hear it. Am I stubborn? Maybe I'm a little stubborn when it comes to this, but I can guarantee you ain't going to learn me some fake, apostasy, some mammon tradition of men. That's what we always do. You got 98% of the people on this rock right now thinking it's 2025. It's not 2025. It's not 2025. You're an idiot. If you think you're spinning on a planet, there's no such thing as planet. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's nonsense, brothers and sisters. So we all have to be here on this rock. There is every single, what you would call ethnicity at one point in time has been enslaved. And not all slavery was, like I said, there were people, Christ was sold for 30 pieces of silver into slavery. Remember? So slavery is something that is very unexplained to most people and don't have any understanding of history because they just read it in a book. The victor gets the spoils. Remember, he writes the history. They don't get to hear what the other side said, and it really is more somewhere down the middle. If you slice the pie, remember, I am the horizo, I'm the separator. Something. Oh man, this guy really is starting to make a little bit more sense the more I listen to him. It just, you have to define the words you're speaking. Most people won't. He said, don't even add a period or a letter to my word. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. Most people aren't going to get it. They're like, no, it's 2025. That's okay. Don't try to change them. They've got that Mandela effect or whatever they call that now. And it's a deceiver, And if you know what that is, then you know what I'm talking about. They did it in scripture. It doesn't say forgive us our trespasses. It says forgive us our debts. Because every seventh Shemitah cycle of 7 years, there were 7 Shemitah cycles of 7, which is the 49th year. And on the 50th year, you'd have a Jubilee debt cycle. I thought maybe Father was going to relieve me on my 50th year, but he just poured it on even harder for me. So I didn't get a Jubilee, but that's okay. It was part of the Old Testament. I'm not under that anymore. It's all spiritual now. So hallelujah, my treasure will be after I die. So I'm not under a calendar or any of that. I don't do things by time like that. I don't live by time. There's no such thing as time. You're an idiot. I'll see you later ish, maybe ish. I don't know. Ish. Okay. See, I leave myself a little wiggle room. You got to be there by a stopwatch. You probably sleep 8 hours. I feel like somebody hit me in the head with a brick if I slept 8 hours. I couldn't do that to myself. Not a chance. But hold on one second. I got a frog in my throat. We got to speak in parables here for a minute. Oh, that was an idiom. So watch what comes towards us all soon. What's coming towards us there? Yeah, I don't sleep. I sleep about 3 hours max, and then I get up and use the bathroom or something. I might lay down for another hour, and I don't normally sleep more than 3 or 4 hours. So, but again, the important thing is that we do understand is that we all have to be here together under this rock, brothers, sisters. And although we might not like each other, that's not what we're not here to change people. I remember my dad when I was young, not my father, and my dad died very young. But he told me it's not right to change anybody. You want to seem to fix everything, Tracy. You think, my brothers call me Inspector Gadget and Doogie Howser and stuff like that. Just mock me all the time because I like medicine and like to fix things, and was just constantly in some other world thinking about other things. And so hallelujah, I hope I could always keep pumping out something that's not a boring channel, that I've gotten plenty of information. I could just go, man. Wait till I get on the road, wait till I be able to take this ministry on the road. If Father will bless me, because I have a huge feet. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to disappear a little bit off this channel here. I'll try to get some more work, because I just purchased and enter a contract with somebody that I got to get paid off, and it's $15,000, and it's not going to pay itself. Nobody tithed any money in the ministry last time, and that's fine. I didn't want people to tithe anything unless they had a lot of extra money, because $100 doesn't, that's a lot to most people. So if you can't afford lots of money, don't give any. There's fake ministry all over this rock. I guarantee there's not another ministry like this ministry other than Jim Brown at Grace and Truth. And I don't want your, monetary tithe. The tithe of time is what I always was, asking people. You can't print time, which you think is, and you can't make it either. So, we can try to make up some time, but you ain't making or printing time. You can make more money. And if you're good enough like the governments, you can be the biggest counterfeiters and be the central banks and get away with it. So, and you can print money, but probably won't go over too well for you, because you got to be related to the purple people eaters, the Queen, EpiPen Island and Mr. Chump and Badman Orange and Joe and the whole big team. So they're all part of the same dragon, kind of like Justin, Trudeau, Castro. I forget who they put up there in Canada now, another tyrant, part of the system. So I'm not sure. Canada is pretty much America at this point in time, if you face it, and so is Mexico. We already have the 101st Airborne Division. It'll only be so long before something's going to happen there. That's some of the most purest silver on this rock comes from Mexico. So the U.S. is not going to give that up easily. It's the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. As a matter of fact, give me a second, guys. I'm going to get up and grab a piece of silver. And, oh, man. I want to get up and get something to eat here going in a minute. I'm going to have to feed my puppies, too. So we might take a pause, and I'll come back on a little bit. I might field a couple questions here in a minute, and then I got some more stuff listed on the net. And not only did I just purchase another house, but for the I'm going to have to probably get some more living quarters out here for myself, because I want to move out of this building, finish the Rusty Dragon, and finish this Rusty Butterfly in the back, so I can I need to move on here. I have so many more things to do. But we'll show you a little silver here. This is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. Never fly this flag in this direction. This is not, this flag should be flown in this country. Every flag in America should be flown in this direction. You see this? You can't clone me, disciple. There's no way you can clone me. I can't be cloned. Nope, I can't be cloned. Remember, you ever seen Bob's, you know who B.O.B. Bob is? Bob the it is. No, that's what I'm saying. It is a nation in distress right now. If you don't think that, that's fine. Then go away with your pride. But you can't clone me. So it's not possible. Buffalo farmer, anybody buffalo farmer? These kind of buffalo that don't bark, bite, doesn't have to be fed or watered, and it just stands still nice and like a good buffalo should. So a good buffalo soldier at attention. So this is just a bull yarn round. I haven't shaved my face but a couple times so in my life. But this is the lifeblood of the military industrial complex. I'm not going to run from this. It is what it is. Nobody wants to talk about this. This is what they put in all the circuitry and all the switches since World War I. Airplanes, aircraft destroyers, Apaches, Blackhawks, drones, they all takes this. This is the bank killer. Save silver and save lives. Hashtag save silver, save lives. So it takes about 5,000. This is another piece of currency. This is actual currency from a country. It's a silver. I forget which country this is from here. It's just something I had in my pocket. Oh, it's the Noah. Somebody stole my one off that sat here forever. Yep, somebody came in the ministry and stole it, but whatever. People have sticky hands, man. I just had 40 pounds of silver stolen from me by somebody that was supposed to be my friend. I had one friend, and now I don't, but not him. Actually, I have a brother in Christ here with me. But this coin has a Noah on it. And so, as a matter of fact, that person that is the one who gave it to me, just to replace it with. So this comes out of one of the mints. So this is an actual piece of money that was minted by one of the, could be spent into circulation. This is just a piece of bullion. This is the buffalo nickel, like on a 5-cent buffalo nickel. It's got the Indian head and then the buffalo on the back. So this is pocket silver. I always carry a piece of silver around. I have for decades, teaching people about silver. So it takes about 5,000 rounds, a monster box of silver at the tip of a cruise missile, to drop them on people's heads. When it says in scripture they'll throw their gold and silver in the streets, they already are monster boxes at a time on innocent women and children in Iraq. Yep. In Ukraine, in Gaza, Philistine, where the champions were at, the giants, not fallen angels. A Nephilim is not a fallen angel. A Nephilim is not a giant. Nephilim in the lexicon means bully. You're a Nephilim. I know a Nephilim. Donald Trump's a Nephilim. I've been a Nephilim. A Nephilim is a... One second, guys. Oh, fire. Getting a fire now? Where do I smell fire coming from? What are you doing, big guy? Come up, say hi to Dad. Where's that fire come from? Who's throwing it? It's like a wood fire. look and see. We're going to go back here to the original subject. We'll come back here in just 1 second, finish what I was talking about. But I want to make sure for whoever comes back and listens to this, later, that the subject on this particular blog live stream was the great and dreadful day of the Lord. That is what is known as the final trump. So that's why it's so important that you pay attention to this millimeter wave technology, because if you pay attention to what this technology does, this is part of this frequency wave, like millimeter wave. If they use this type technology, they could separate silver from the rock, like the process that it takes now to make something. What are you doing there, boy? Can you imagine the tonnage of the rock, that it took to put this in this form? We're talking about a serious amount of tonnage. So every 1 ounce of gold that comes up, they find 8 ounces of silver comes up with it. Silver is an actual byproduct of mining other base metals such as copper, zinc, or different ores, iron and things like that. So this is obviously has value. It comes up with it, and then they mine it out, and that takes a process. So the reason why I talk about this too on this channel often is because this is supposed to be the money of the people. In some places they call this money, or the white metal, or the yellow metal. So the US is the farthest thing from that, and they take trillions of dollars, just like Trump took $8.8 trillion. He still to this day is the number one single spending president ever in the history of America. He took more people's money from the taxpayer and the future generations and gave it to his buddies at Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. Even if you have somebody from Canada, we have lots of followers or subscribers that come in from Canada. People don't realize most of our paper products in the U.S. come from Canada, the Canadian forest. 80+%, almost 90% of the paper products, and that covered that whole COVID thing. You don't know anything probably about the food industry or all the products that are used through paper products or plastic products, which are petroleum as well. So I don't know very many other channels that take the time to point out what's being pointed out in this channel. It's an apostasy that we have not been able to use this megalithic structure. And I don't want to build megalithic things, but my back's not 20 anymore. So I'm still stronger. Most 20-year-olds my age, and have a better physique than most people. So my age, but it doesn't mean that I couldn't use a little assistance every once in a while. And they're going to use it for nefarious reasons. I know what that is that they're getting ready to use it for. So like I said, people won't see it until it's upon them, and it'll come like a thief in the night, and you will be, if it's free to be poor versus free to be a slave, I'll keep voting. Right? If you vote, you can leave. If you're a voter, you can get out of here or rebuke you if you voted in any election in the last 10. I don't care. If you're a voter, leave. I rebuke you. You're one of these people who keep contributing to the system. So keep being a voter, and you're not part of this channel. So goodbye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. You're Democrip or you're a Bloodbakin. People wouldn't even know what left or right is anymore. They're so blinded by their idiots that you can't even talk about one candidate and they freak out. So they're so left or right paradigm, they wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. It's the problem with society. It wasn't a deal breaker when I grew up. We'd still hang out with the kids, let the kids jump in the pool. But nope, it's a deal breaker now. So I rebuke anybody who votes in this system who allows 25% of the taxpayers stop paying taxes. This federal government would just dry up all on its own. And federal government was not there to make laws. They were there to protect the inalienable right of the people. God-given, natural, organic, color of law, Black's law, whatever. It's always been here. It's like the right to travel. These people just violate people's rights day in and day out. People just love it. You better respect my authority. So pretty silly, these people who vote in these systems and keep the system going, as these banksters and their politicians, poly meaning many, tick, politic, bloodsucker, politicians, bloodsuckers suck the people money dry. $8.8 trillion, the single most ever amount of money ever spent in a 4-year term. Spent more money than Obama. Even Barry and Kamala Akbar, his island boy buddies, couldn't even spend as much as he did. But nope, everybody gives this guy a free pass because they're MAGA idiots. MAGA is the high priest of the Satan church. They're idiots. The most blind generation to even walk this rock. They were changed in the twinkling of an eye at the last thump. Chump is what they are. People, idiots, in voting for this guy who has his house decorated with Satan. How much of an idiot you got to be to decorate your house with Satan and vote for somebody that decorates? How would you even allow that to happen? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. They love it. Democrat, whether they lick the red lollipop or the red blood bouquet, they're still the mass murderer in chief. So keep voting. Which was your mass murderer in chief you voted for? See, you're the problem. You vote. They took how many hundreds of billions of dollars? You don't know what the definition of saved is, Solomon. So you got to get out of here, you lollipop Christian. Are you a Christian? Christ is a pagan term. So, Lord, pagan term. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Too bad. You just speak some other Jesus. The letter J wasn't never put A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, J. Letter J, and we don't fight about that in here. But you can't be, Jesus doesn't save. You have to endure to the end to be saved. You're an idiot. Stop spreading your lollipop nonsense. No ask, no question, Jesus. Sit down one day, Sunday, fun day, Jesus. Come on in there and celebrate God loves everybody, Jesus. Condescending and pretentious. Not condescending, the word. You just don't like the word. G-R-E. Is that short for great? Make America G-R-E-A-T. MAGA, MAGA, high priest of the Satan church. Satan means adversary. You wouldn't know. It sounds like that to you, but you're just some lollipop religious idiot, aren't you? Let's show everybody what you said. Condescending, this is called showing people the light. You know, there's two Jesus in Scripture, right? There's more than one Jesus. The letter J didn't exist at the time of the Hamashiach, so who in the hell is Jesus? Speak up. You're speaking and adding letters, and he said don't add a jot. Tell me what a jot is. If you can't say it, then don't speak up. You're a false teacher. You shouldn't even be speaking any of the books unless you're studying one word at a time. You'd have a concordance. You can do that one word at a time. I speak from ignorance. Okay, well, what ignorance? Can you define the word ignorant for me? G-R-E. I'm giving you definitions, and you're speaking. I'm carrying the poor and marginalized lines with double ideas. Okay, cool. That's a very educated answer, Detroit Coalition. He did. He said, be with the sick and the weary and the widowed and the downtrodden, right? Right? He hung out with a prostitute. The worst thing you could be at the time was, remember, he whipped the people for selling, you know, the doves in the churches. Remember, you've turned my father's house into a den of thieves, right? The money changers, he turned over the money. So these people love their other Jesus. This is wild. This is every day we do it in here, somebody for you, just so you know. Doom, 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 doom. That's somebody. Sorry, that song came to my head, man. Yeah, man. You remember that dude? He was painting on the wall or whatever. Kind of looked like the painting right here, I guess. Remember, they kind of look like this right here. This cubism kind of deal. Watch out, there's faces that pop out of that painting. This is an artist. I love earth toads. What? What are you doing, puppy? All right. Oh, yeah, that's called cubism. What are you doing, butts? Hey, you guys, probably gonna have to give this a pause here. You were hitting 3 hours. I gotta get my puppies some food here. I didn't have a full meal for them, and they're getting probably hungry. I gotta let them out. Hold on. I want to say hi to Mr. Pitt. Hold on, stop. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing, my best guy? My best guy that I ever did have. He's my part dingo. Oh, my other buddies give me headbutts. Oh, I'm getting headbutts down here. I'm getting headbutts. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you, big guy. Oh, you're my best guy. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on, you guys. Whoa. Why is that so close? There we go. Okay. There we go, Chris. Chris is knocking it out of the park, too. Thanks for putting some truth out there, guys. And Jesus wasn't his name, but we'll use the one from Bethlehem, remember? He was not born of Nazareth. Nothing good could come of Nazareth. So, I haven't timed anybody out. It's not me. YouTube times out a lot of people on this channel. We also have moderators that will time you out. So, this is my boy. He's part dingo, and I got to let this guy out because he's been hanging out with Dad the whole time. We've been live streaming for 3 hours. He hasn't been let out. So, what did you get into? You had a sticker on you. A little piece of sticker on him. So, oh, all right. Say hi, Mr. Bance, Mr. Yoder boy. He's my dingo boy. He's a good boy. He's a handsome guy, huh? He's a handsome guy. He's a handsome guy. You want to get up here, Tuggy? Come here. Get up here, Tug. Tug. Get up here. So they can see you. Come here, biggest guy. Come here. Come here, big guy. Come over here, big guy. Oh, all done. Yes, he's an excellent dog. He's such a good dog. He's like I said, he's part dingo, so he's such a good boy. He's such a good guy. He's wonderful. He is. He is just an amazing. All he wants to do is please. Huh, but Mr. Boom Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Boom, Doug. Do you love the dad? Tell him you love the dad. Where's your ears? Listen there. He talks with his ears. Did you see that? He's an amazing guy. Let me let these guys out. We're gonna get some food too. It's about time to get some. Verde. Oh, cool. Hey, Kevin, come back over here. Are you coming back over here, Kevin? Are you coming back over here? I gotta get these guys some food. Okay. They're getting hungry. Okay, hey guys, I'll try to come on here again a little bit. Like I said, I get some more stuff done out here. I have a big, large feat. Like I said, I have a very large bill here for the ministry that I've got to get taken care of. I was able to get this ministry paid off, and that was a large price tag. It was almost $50,000 is the final, with the whole payment in whole. So I obviously been paying on it for 10 years, so I had a good portion, but it took nearly double that to pay off. So I purchased another property in this valley, and it has power already. It has the ability to be used as a ministry. So I didn't buy the property for me. Once again, it's another property that I bought for the ministry. So I need to get this knocked out because I have only a limited time. I have a contract written up on paper, and I'm been doing some things here to try to put all this together so that I can come up with this $15,000 that I have remaining. I've already given large, down payment. So I need to get some more things sold, and I need to get some more things on the internet. But that takes a lot of work of pulling things around and moving things out of storage. And so I need to work on some vehicles. And So I might even have to go, not today, but to the parts store and buy a couple more parts or for that another vehicle that I've already been working on. So hope you enjoyed the stream. We'll talk a little bit more about this great and dreadful day of the Lord. I hope again in closing that you do understand that judgments is one day. There's no judgments. Nobody's died and gone to heaven. I could have covered that in detail, but I didn't. But most people are very mistaken in this rock. They walk around and I think dead people go to the sky because they think heaven is in the sky. But that's God is not above our head. God, Father has never been above our head. That's not what in the sky. That's not what crown. That's not what fallen. That's not what it means. It's not talking above your head. So obviously it goes over most people's heads, and that's fine. You know, they're not going to understand how this works, and I don't discern everything I tell you. You shouldn't, it says, believe no man. So, but I have studied for decades and stuck my word in the scripture over and over again. And I know that it's telling us to get prepared to be without flesh, that when he takes us to his Father's house, it's not going to be a flesh place. You're not going to be with Father. Father cannot sin. Father is blameless, without sin, perfect, sovereign. There's only one sovereign. Sovereign means above the law. We can just scratch the word sovereign because there's no such thing. There's only one sovereign anything. Anything. And that is the creator without flesh. The creator of all things. He had to birth a flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation, not religion. So, am I a Satanist? You can't probably even define what the word Satan means. So before you can answer your own question, you might want to know what the hell, define the word hell, is coming out of your mouth. Because most people can't define anything. So I can tell you Lucifer is not a word, and Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer doesn't exist. There's a whole genre, generation, decades now, who have taken a word and created nothing from nothing, a word that is nothing. Nothing. Lucifer is not a word. Never existed in the scriptures, and people have made up a word. Well, Lucifer is the morning star. No, Lucifer's not the morning star. Who told you that? Oh, some mammon. Why do they keep sending me, guys? I got to go. They're asking me to send them something for my. I worship Jezebel for a night, and my looks were taken away for a week. What does that mean? Doesn't mean anything there. Jezebel is a demon, is a lion, is a Nephilim. Same thing. A Nephilim is a Jezebel, which is a liar. A distributor of fortunes or lies to others. That's the word daemonion, or what is the word devil, never written in scripture. That's not a word, devil. That's a modern day word that was replaced, the word daemonion, that people say devil. My scripture that I study doesn't say devil. Doesn't have that word in there. Why would you say that word? Never did the word Lucifer ever exist. And then they replaced it with one word, and it doesn't even match the word Hallelujah that's there. So it's idiocracy. It's idiocracy. So, or Satan, whatever, you're an idiot. You got to be able to define what the hell you're talking about there, Ramsey. You don't know what Satan means. So, no, I don't care if you agree or not. You probably think you can believe in God there, Gia. Or if that's whatever your name is. This name is Shem, not name, by the way. There's no letter J at the time of Christ. Good, well, neither am I. Oh, you think Satan is the light bringer? Okay, well, Satan doesn't exist in the original text. It was never written there. It's only written one time in modern text. You're an idiot. You tell me you've studied, I don't care. You can go through the Dead Sea Scrolls, the, Book of Jasher, Lilith, Enoch, which author. You're out of your league. So it doesn't matter what the definition is. It's not a word that existed in history. Well, definition matters for everything, but it's not a word that existed ever in history in the text. It's not written there. So you don't add. He said in Revelation, don't add a word. So Lucifer is not a word that's even biblical, scriptural, or has anything to do with Satan. That's how idiot people are. You just make up a word like the Easter Bunny. Oh, hey. Oh, well, you're you know what you are? You're a little Bo Peep with little fluffy marshmallow things with the sugar-coated holidays, little chocolate dots on your eyes. So the word Lucifer doesn't exist, brothers and sisters. Think about this genre of generations who've said that the morning star is Venus. You're an idiot. I have that celestial alignment right there. The king star, this Jovian gas giant, this year Jupiter. I'm a Magi. You know what a Magi is? There's a Magi. Remember, there were many Magi, not 3 of them. They gave 3 gifts. You're an idiot. Christ was not a baby. That's Satan. Satan's born in the middle of the winter. Jesus Christ. See? That's who your that's who your daddy is. Your Satan daddy. Satan means adversary, by the way. If you define, that's what it means. High priest of the Satan church is MAGA. MAGA, just like Donald Trump. And Joe Biden is Donald Trump. I don't want to hear it. So is Kamala Akbar. They're all wings to the same dragon, cheeks to the same hole. So you play your little lollipop religious games, and I studied this decades, millennia. There's no such thing as 1,000. There's no such thing as the 0. That doesn't exist either, but you seem to think it's 2025, right? You're just out of your league. So you can't believe in anything. Yeah, you're an idiot. So the word belief is not a thought in your head. So you're definitely an idiot. That's okay. I'm not insulting you. You probably don't know what the word idiot means. Not my fault. Can't turn a goat into a sheep. See, that's how it works, brother, sister. You just give them the truth, show them the light. That's all you have to do. You can't turn a goat into a sheep. It's not possible. They're already chosen from the foundation of the world. Father doesn't love everybody. He only loves his bride. The word love is the word agape. So you don't define any words. You're not going to get anywhere with me. So I won't let you. He said, guard my commandments. And I'm a veteran. So I know I took a note to the Constitution. I am a soldier of God before I'm a military veteran. So, but either way, poly meaning many, tick meaning bloodsucker, many bloodsuckers, and believe is not a thought in your head. So Gia, you might want to restudy what comes out of your pie hole, your face, whatever, smacking your lips or whatever's coming out, your front side, or your, I don't know what end you got coming out, but it's a bunch of hot air. It don't make any sense. All right, leave, Gia. Get out of here. Nobody's talking about a 3-year-old. I believe in politics, but I also believe it's evil. So yeah, no, you can't believe in politics, Ramsey, and you can't believe in anything. You're an idiot. Believe is not a thought in your head. So be gone with if ever you think you can believe in God or anything, leave. You did. Obviously, I didn't even listen in school. I passed, got a high school diploma, but I didn't listen. I learned most of what I did actually by studying on my own afterwards and cracking the books for real, not listening to some paid, head that don't teach anybody anything. So, but you believe in killing animals and mounting them on your walls. Listen, you're an idiot. The word believe is a verb. You're an idiot. Get out of here. Leave now, child. Tell me I'm acting like a child. You didn't even listen in grammar. You know what country grammar is? Nelly? No, we won't do. Maybe you respond more to music. Idiot. You're an idiot. You don't know what the word idiotos is, the same word as ignoramus. And you are apparently, the love of Lucifer. You're with your LOL. You love Lucifer, we know, which doesn't even exist. That's like as real as the Easter Bunny. So get out of here. Belief is a verb, not a noun. Faith is a noun. You can't believe in God. You can't believe in Jesus. It's not. It's a verb. You're an idiot. Get out of here. You're a child. Accuse me of being 3 years old and you can't even do proper grammar, punctuation. Remember? Noun, verb, adjective, predicate. Oh, this is basic stuff you learn in elementary school. No, you're not pagan. I guarantee you're not pagan. You're a fake pagan is what you are. You don't know paganism. Tell me what year it is right now, Gia. I know you're not a pagan. What year is it? What year is it, Gia? I'm going to silence you because you're an idiot. There you go with your love of Lucifer again. You're an idiot. You can't define anything. So what year is it? What year is it, pagan? I'm too transcendental for half of you heathens. I think they're pegging something, I know, with their pole worship. They are. They love sticking things with poles. They do. Little round pegs and square holes, and it's like Sesame Street. That Fraggle Rock up in here. These people are like puppets on a string to me. That's all right. I like pulling their strings, playing with them. I'm not the puppet master like Metallic or anything, master of puppets, but they more respond to television or music. You know what I'm saying? They're chants and mantras and fake nonsense. They just love their little psychobabble. Like he is is an idiot. Already proved, no definition. So am I an atheist? Yes, I don't believe in any religions. I rebuke every religion like I rebuke all cops and all governments. My year has nothing to do with yours. So you can't even answer the year. Get out of here, kid. Don't say anything else. You're a brute beast is what you are. You can't even answer a simple question. So get out of here, you fake pagan. And somebody in here is a Christian. Get out of here, you Christians. Get out of here, you Protestants, you Presbyterians, you Baptists, you Mormons. There you go again with your love of Lucifer. You're stuck on dumb is what you are now because you don't want to learn. So there's a difference between being stupid. What's the difference, Gia, between one black eye and not threatening violence and two black eyes? Gia, tell me that. What's the difference between having one black eye and two black eyes? You have to answer it right or you got to go. If you don't get the question right, you have to actually get this one right because you won't answer any questions properly. So God bless me. I didn't sneeze. And people who sneezed, they thought they had a demon. And that's why they would say God bless. And the word demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. So it's not, you don't bless people when they sneeze. Don't do that. That's anti-Christ. Don't do that. That's stupid. That shows how much ignorant you are of history. Seriously. Jesus loves me. Well, what Jesus? There's more than one Jesus. I rebuke your Sex Pistol cracker orgy, Jesus. Yeah, crackers and grape juice born in the middle of the winter. So which Jesus are you speaking of? He spoke of many, remember? Christ, many will come in my Shem, my Agape, my authority, my name, and it shall be deceived. Obviously, you must be deceived. Nope, they don't love me. That's not what the word says. You speak like a mammon, Matt. Like Matthew, like, sounds like an English name, doesn't it? So, but it's the word love. Nobody's angry with their love. Get out of here, Gia. You can't even define anything. You got to go. You're just whacking off, jerking off. I don't know if you're a woman or something. Go sit on a freaking washing machine or something. They got multiple cycles. You might be able to get yourself to bubble. Bubbles and butterflies, baby. Spin cycle. Woo! Get out of here. Go wax on. There's a chain you can pull somewhere else. So, did you get your happy ending? Gia's got the happy ending. You can't believe in anything, Simmons. Oh, all right. You're out of here, an idiot. Go join somebody else's religious chat. You're an idiot. I rebuke the LOL. You want to be kicked out of the chat? Go ahead and put the word LOL. That's a ram, okay? Or just thinks it's a goat. So it's a ram. But you cannot believe. It's a verb. So when he says believe in me, that is an action word. You can't have a thought in your head be a belief. Yes, J was a letter. That's right. Stay out of that. You can only go to the interlinear Texas Receptus. There's only one version. That's it. There's only one version. I don't have the other ones in here right now because I've been. Okay. This is the interlinear. I mean, see, it's written in Greek. This is the 12th century book from the 12th century. Canonized. Each word, one word, study it, one word at a time. If you don't study this way, you're an idiot. I was an idiot for a long time. And then he said, my people shall perish for like abyss. I'll throw them in the abyss. So I started studying. Stop cheating myself. Use my concordance. Use my lexicon. Use my culture, study customs, study maps. These books have maps in them. You should be scooping up. It's yard sale time, going to these Goodwills and getting these books just for the maps. Some of these images are worth priceless. and they change, these different names of countries. And he warned of idolism and imagery, but I'm telling you what, you're an idiot, Joe. Danny, you don't even know. You don't know. Jehovah God and the letter J didn't exist, but it means self-existent. He said before Abraham was I am. He's the creator of all things. So you're an idiot. Get out of here, Joe. You're an idiot. You don't understand. Father is light. You're just an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't understand. You can't accept anything. Basic geometry, basic physics, quantum computing. This is simple stuff. Simple. I'm not trying to speak over your head. Cool. I'm not trying to speak over your head, but you're just an idiot, and that's okay. You'll learn when you start studying more and more. You have to study the word. So stop adding to the text, and that's what it says. Don't add or take away from my text. Even the smallest jot. That'd be like a period. So you can't add anything or take away from his book. So, matter of fact, we'll talk about that maybe next time, adding and taking away. So, Ryan Dawson. Don't say peace, Philip. Anybody who says peace, sudden destruction will come upon those who say peace and safety. The word peace is a false teacher or false prophet. Don't say peace. Love your other sisters that are in the narrow way. This is only speaking out to those that the word calls out to. Father does not love everybody. He only loves his bride. He didn't love the Gentile nation, and under the wages of sin was death under one sin or the Old Testament. So you're just an idiot, and that's okay. I can't help that. I can help you if you'll go study yourself. Do it on your own. There's plenty of links, throughout the ministry that have been dropped during the live stream, the Grace and Truth ministries, where you can start studying the words one word at a time. Until you start studying it, you're not actually studying it correctly. So stop trying to read it like a book. It's not a book. You don't pick it up and read it. No, he doesn't love everybody. Joe, get out of here. You're an idiot. I rebuke you. He hated Esau and he loved Jacob, and who later gave the inheritance and called Israel before either were born or done anything on this earth. You're a lion, and you are what is called a Nephilim. By definition, a Nephilim, a bully. You want another definition of you? A demon. You're a demon because you're spreading lies to others. No, God does not love everybody. He didn't love the Gentiles. You're an idiot. He didn't love Esau. He hated Esau before either were born or done anything on this earth. Okay? So stop with your lies. That is the word demon. You're distributing fortunes or lies to others. You are the definition in the lexicon of the word demon. We've all been a demon. We've all been a Nephilim. So stop spreading lies. Father doesn't love everybody. So much love. You guys want to leave a comment after the video? You're more than welcome to do that. Hit the thumbs up button before I go. I got to get some things done here. And I might be back on maybe for the end of the night-ish. Leave yourself an out. Don't do anything by a clock, okay, guys? Hi, Marcy. So I'll give you guys, again, another update. Links are in the description. You want to support the ministry in a monetary way, it's not required, just your time of time. Well, that's what it does say, Joe, but he doesn't love everybody, okay? Father does not love everybody, so stop spreading blasphemies. That's what you're doing. We are supposed to love everybody. Love thy neighbor like thy love thy enemy, like thy love thyself. And it's not the word love. My book doesn't say love. My book says Agape, agape. See, you're reading some other version, so your words are all incorrect. They have to be the original text, brothers and sisters. You want to come back and you want to find out where to get that, go over to Grace and Truth Ministries right now. Go watch Brother Jim Brown, graceandtruth.net on the internet. We'll see you guys again soon. Remember, silver is the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. Save silver and save lives. They drop monster boxes, 5,000 of them on people's, women and children's heads. So all that scripture says, they'll throw their gold and silver in the streets. It's not talking about being worthless. You better have a water filter and food. But this is God's money. Silver came up. They sold Christ for 30 pieces of this. So careful, don't have too much. He said it'd be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man through the gates of heaven. You got too much, you won't make it. So use what you have. Give that shekel to the rich man, he said, because you didn't use. Don't hide that light in the basket. So it's an interlinear Texas Receptus. This is the interlinear, means it's written in both Greek and English. This is the canonized version of the Hendrickson. Take that right there. Hendrick's version. It's coded with the Strong's Concordance, so you can actually go one word study, one word at a time. Okay, interlinear. Brother Jim studies out of the same exact text. He has the Young's Concordance. I use the Strong's. Same thing, just a number. Just it pulls out who said that one sentence in the word you're studying. Makes it a whole different way of studying the scriptures, guys. It's so much easier for your mind to understand when you know talking about of the word, and then you see who said it and the context they said it, and then actually you don't cheat yourself by using the concordance. You go back and read a few sentences, passage before, and a few passages afterwards. You're an idiot, Joe. Get out of here. That's your opposite. He wants his children to go through long suffering. I rebuke you, Joe. You're an antichrist. Paul said we must go through much. The lip said. He said through Matthew, deny yourself. You're an antichrist. No peace, tribulation. We must go through the narrow way. So you're an idiot. Get out of here, Joe. Take your peace, Jesus, somewhere else. You got your one day Sunday. He said in the book of Matthew to enter through the straight gate. Who shall ever come after me? Let them deny themselves daily, take up your cross. And he was crucified. He suffered, and he wants you to suffer. He said, follow after me. So what part of that don't you understand there, Joe? Are you related to Mr. Bidenstein? Put the Joe Biden. Did you get the Biden? Maybe too many boosters. So, no, I'm too transcendental for half of you heathens. So much love, brothers and sisters. I was playing with Joe. Mr. Biden, I think he had too many boosters. He's on the other Jesus, the other gospel that Paul warned us about. He don't speak any real gospel. You can tell it's just coming out of his mouth. So blasphemy. All right, much brothers and sisters. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Leave a link or leave a comment, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream. No, he doesn't love all people. Look at Joe's going to be a blasphemous. I'll teach off you before I go. Joe, you're what Christ would consider. If Christ was here today walking this earth, which is a pagan term, he would call you brute beast. You're an ass. You're acting like an ass, meaning a mule. You have an unwillingness to learn or to be stubborn. I said Father said he so loved Jacob, right, who he gave the inheritance and called Israel, and he hated Esau before either were born or any done anything on this rock. And he did not love the Gentile nation. So you're blasphemous, heathenous swine. It's anybody in this room can judge you with righteously and see that you're 100% incorrect. He didn't love the Gentiles. So you're an idiot. So go pitch your other Jesus somewhere else. You're exactly what Paul warned about, another gospel and another Jesus. So you're the word. You're twisting. Please stop. It would be the word froward. You don't speak any Hebrew at all. Remember, he was a Hebrew Israelite, a Jewish carpenter. Froward is the Hebrew word to twist, change, or perverted. You are perverted as all hell. You truly are. You're as perverted as it gets. You can't even speak any Greek or any Hebrew, so don't come back here until you can oligas, speak a little bit of Greek, because remember the time of Rome, Mithra, Apollyon the sun god? I think your Jesus is the one born in the middle of the winter. So, okay? There's only one Christ. Look at this, guys. Even Christ himself, it says in Scripture, he says, many will come in my name saying they are Christ. It doesn't even say name in my book. It says Shem. Many will come in my Shem, my Agape, and they shall be, in my name saying they are Christ. So look at Joe's an idiot. This is what happens when you go to church, brothers and sisters. You fall into this great delusion. I'm giving him the Scripture. I'm showing him in the narrow way. Many Christ, many Jesus. Paul warned of another gospel, right? And another Jesus. So there's more than one Jesus. There's many Jesus. So he loves all. He came after the 99. All right, get out of here. Never coming back to this channel ever again. Bye, Joe. So much love, brothers and sisters. You like this ministry? Well, it's Father doing it to you. Remember, he said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So seek it one word at a time. We'll come back again, maybe-ish, because I'll leave myself a little wiggle room. That's what I do. It ain't going to put me on no clock. I don't live by a time clock like you do. So I do. I will see you guys again very soon, maybe-ish. Who knows? The cops could come out here and SWAT raid me again, blast me in the face. Might actually, might take me out this time. It didn't get me last time in 5 tear gas canisters, and I'm still here speaking. So I still have a First Amendment. So until they take that from me, I'm not going to stop, brothers and sisters. It's just been a minute. I'm busy. Like I said, I got to go get this $15,000 to get this ministry paid off, and I can't do it sitting on here all day. So much love, and Nah, there's one Jesus. So that's so stupid. You guys are so brutish in nature, I can tell. You don't have the scripture in there. It's right in the scriptures. And he says that many will come in my Shem and my Agape, saying they are Christ, and they shall be received. There's no such thing as luck. Just so you know, Craig, no such thing as luck. No such thing as free will. If Father created all things, all right, I'm not going to sit here and argue with a sheep, right? Or a goat. It's not possible to change a goat into a sheep or a sheep into a goat. Those that are in the narrow way, you can feed them this meat, brothers, sisters. They love it, right? That word is agape, not love. Quit adding to the text. You speak this modern day mammon Jezebel. So that's what we speak in here, right? We use the Greek and we use the Hebrew. We don't sit there and study this other gospel and another Jesus that Paul warned of. So do appreciate those that have the time to come in. We'll see you guys again soon. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.